All right, folks, welcome to a special episode here at the SF Comic Book Co. We're doing our top 10 favorite film directors. I'm already preparing myself to hate Lori's half of Lori. All right, folks, welcome. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is the SF Comic Book Co. We do a weekly show, SF Company Hour, every Tuesday. But every so often we do a little special episode here, doing a top 10. So we're doing a top 10 tonight live. I don't think we've ever done a top 10 live, right, Rick?
That's not on the show, no.
Well, we do top 5s on the show, but no top 10. What was the last top 10 we did? It was
Apocalypse movies?
Or was it the action movies? I think it was the 80s action movies.
I think that might have been it, yeah.
Yeah, it was the last pure top 10 we did. So welcome. It's a while back. Yeah, we've been lagging. We got a couple other ones we're going to be doing. But welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And we do unboxings, we do reviews, we do rants, we do a Loki after show for the wonderful Loki series. So join me. Joining me today, Lori, frequent guest on the SF Company. How are you doing?
Hello.
We've been threatening to do this. Lori's a film geek such as herself. She dabbles in directing and writing and stuff too, so it's the best person for this list. So welcome, Lori. Everything good?
Everything is good, thank you. Yes.
All right, right
it's
on.
It's your birthday month too, so you start the celebration early.
It's a year-long celebration. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Celebration, bitches.
And my co-director, my compadre, the primo's from primo, Rick. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Ready to pop this one off. You know, this is going to be an interesting list. I'm interested to hear what people got. I'm sure we're going to have the same people, like a lot of the same people on there.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, top 10 directors. We're going to do start off first with our honorable mentions, and we're going to do 3 honorable mentions, and then we'll go jump into our top 10. All right, let's see. Let's start off for you, Lori. We'll start. So Lori, Rick, and me. We'll do it like that. Lori, Rick.
Are we doing all 3 at the same time, or just?
Just shit them out. Yeah, let's just get to it. Yeah, your 3 honorable mentions.
Okay, my 3 honorable mentions are Steven Spielberg, Rob Reiner, and Roger Corman. Those are my 3.
All right, on. All right. What's your favorite movies of theirs?
Well, Steven Spielberg, obviously Jaws and E.T., and all the Indiana Jones incarnations and the Jurassic Park. I mean, those are the things that he does the best. He does those action genre movies. I think there's no one that does them better as far as I'm concerned. And he just has the fun. It's the fun element to them, and it always kind of gives you that nostalgia of, especially when you're watching the Indiana Jones. You can't help but love them because of the adventure aspect that comes with them. And he just has such a flair about him when he does that. And Jaws is, I think, still one of the best opening scenes probably ever in film, is that opening scene on the beach that just is still so stunning. No matter how many times you see it, it just kind of grabs you and doesn't let go, so to speak. And no pun intended, of course, but
it's great because it's a third movie too. It's only his third movie, and it's a classic still. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Rick.
Definitely.
What's your honorable mentions, Rick?
Honorable mentions for me: Ridley Scott, Catherine Bigelow, and Robert Rodriguez.
Wow.
So those 3 for me. I mean, it was hard not to put Rodriguez up there. For me, it's all about. There's a lot having to do with body of work, what they bring to the table. Robert Rodriguez being an indie director going into like mainstream movies. Catherine Bigelow, she's just like the little director that could.
Yeah.
She's fucking dope. Goes across a lot of genres. And shit, Ridley Scott, same thing. They got mostly everybody on our list is probably going to have a lot of classics. a lot of like iconic movies on their list. So
Right.
yeah, that's who I got right there.
Chris is asking a good point. Hey, all, what are the parameters for the list? Does Krasinski qualify? He's only has 2 movies under his belt. They're pretty good. I wouldn't put him on my. Like,
I couldn't put him just because of body of work. I mean, they're great movies though,
ask me
but it's
like,
one genre.
Ask me 5 films down the road. You know, he kills it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like guys up and coming that just don't have enough work yet. There's like there's what's his name, Jordan Peele. He's got some great films under the belt. He could be on this list in a few years, but he just doesn't have enough films. For me personally, if you think,
J.J. Abrams, he still needs to do a lot more movies.
He's done a pretty. Good, He's done a pretty good amount of movies. So spoilers for my list. He's on my list.
Okay.
It's really personal. And like some of these folks,
this is gonna be personal. I mean, that's why I'll refrain from attacking anybody's fucking list right now. It's gonna be difficult.
I don't agree to those terms. Hondalorian rhymes with Borsese.
Sorry, don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Borsese.
What an asshole.
There's a couple of directors that I would definitely put up there at some point, but they just don't have the body of work yet. So, most of my directors have at least 5 movies that I really like. So most of them have that parameter. So for my honorable mentions, I'm going with Poltergeist, the great Tobey Hooper. Tobey Hooper, he did some great flicks, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and just pretty much like the horror genre would not be what it is without him.
Definitely.
Edgar Wright.
Man.
Edgar Wright, he's still young too. His body work is not huge yet, so he was definitely he's probably gonna get further in my list once he has some more flicks under his belt. So he's definitely on the cusp of breaking the top 10. He's got a great style, great visual style. And another one that I will probably move up on the list and probably make it top 10 at some point. Zack Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
So Zack Snyder, his body work is not super great, but I like a majority of his films, and I think his visual style is great. I like his use of music and visuals. I know people shit on the slow motion, but I dig slow motion movies used properly and not overused sometimes. Sometimes it gets overused, but I really think his style for sure. All right.
Yeah, I'm making notes, so I'm writing these down as well. So
you're writing. Okay, good. Now
I
don't
doing
have to do it for once.
Are you doing the tags, Rick?
Oh shit. Okay. Hold on. Let me get started. All right. Yeah, I'll be doing the tags.
There you go. Thank you.
I'll just. Do you want the synopsis or do you want just the tags?
Just do the tags. I think.
It makes my life so much easier.
So let's make it easier for you today.
All right. Wait, let me start something. File.
I want to be starting something. All right. So while Rick does that, please subscribe, follow the channel, all the social medias. SF Comic Book Co. on the Facebook. We have a Facebook group. We have an Instagram page that we neglect, but we're on it as much as we can. So go check those out, and turn on the notification bell so you know when we're jumping on. Sometimes we do some random shit. We got some unboxings coming up, so you want to check those out for sure.
All right. Can you give me your top 10 again? Your honorable mentions again, Lori, please.
Mine, Spielberg, Rob Reiner, and Roger Corman.
Okay, thank you. And yours,
You're welcome.
Toby Hooper.
Uh-huh.
Edgar Wright, and Zack Snyder.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool beans. All right. So let's jump to it. Let's get it going.
All right.
Top 10 film directors. So let's go number 10. Lori, what's your number 10?
John Sayles actually is number 10
good.
for me, and I adore his work. I've adored his work for years. I actually own a few of his films, but from Mutt to One to Baby It's You to 8 Men Out and Brother from Another Planet, which I think is still one of a great cult film and just such a really bizarre film, but really well done, and I love it. And then, of course, Lone Star, which was just absolutely one of my all-time favorites because I absolutely adore Chris Cooper, who's in that, who's so good, and the cast in that is really good too. So John Sayles, and he's done a lot, especially the last, I would say, probably 10 years. He's done a lot of television work too. He's done a lot of TV directing as well as writing. So he's both, I would say, good director and writer on that.
Right on. Awesome. Rick, you're number 10.
Okay, my number 10, he jumped on the list very late because I was starting to think, I'm like, you know what? It's a very personal list. Number 10 is John Hughes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Number 10 is John Hughes. It's a huge part of my life. 16 Candles. I mean, shit. I mean, we all wanted to be Jake Ryan, but most of us were Farmer Ted. So the other thing too, Weird Science, you know, this fucking that's my Gary to, you know, my Wyatt. It just like so much stuff. The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
It's a small for his directing. It was a small thing, but dude, he really got that whole he got that teen feel. People are gonna say, oh well, that's not my teenhood. You know what? It may not be, but you knew folks like that, and
absolutely.
So you can relate, regardless if it was your life or it wasn't. It's probably somebody you knew, and you were involved some way in it. So I don't want to hear all that. Oh well, I don't understand the white suburban life. Well, you had white suburban friends, I'm sure. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, John Hughes. Yeah, he's classic, man. Yeah, he has a lot of great films. Yeah, didn't make my list, but yeah, he's definitely a big one for sure. All right, so my number 10, speaking of birthdays, my birthday buddy, Mr. Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, yeah.
I love me some Stanley Kubrick. He's a great, just his attention to detail in every movie he made. It was so great. Just kind of seeing like the people that overanalyze his movies is great. You know, if you ever saw the documentary Room 237, like you just breaking down The Shining, so many things that are in The Shining. Just a great list of work. You know, Full Metal Jacket was amazing.
Yeah.
Dr. Strangelove. It's Lolita. He just had a
Barry Lyndon.
hell of a run. Just a hell of a run. What was it? 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know, kind of spoke for a generation of sci-fi filmmakers. You know, so that was like a definitely
which came out before Star Wars, correct? It was 69, I think, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it came out way before Star Wars. Yeah. But you could definitely see that influence on sci-fi going forward for sure. So yeah, Stanley Kubrick and his greatest work, really, best work of all time, the moon landing. So it's
exactly
his greatest work. All right, let's go. Number 9, Lori. What's your number 9?
Is actually my first Japanese filmmaker named Seijun Suzuki. I know I've talked about him a couple of times in whenever I've been on, but he does these great. He has a specific way that he does film. It's very mod, very kind of. Sometimes it's very broken where he'll have like a scene and then he'll cut like in the middle of a scene, and it's the way that he does filmmaking is incredible, and also the colors that he uses in his films. Like one room will be like a bright blue, and then the actor will go into another room that's like a bright red, and then he'll sometimes blend them together. I mean, his visuals are so absolutely amazing. And again, most of his films have to do with the Yakuza in some way, shape, or form. And it's always that kind of post-war Japanese, like they've got a little bit of the gangster to them. They've got a little bit of the cowboy to them. And a couple of his films that I love are Youth of the Beast, which I just bought, Tattooed Life, which is another great one of his, Tokyo Drifter, and Branded to Kill. And I own 3 of the 4 of those. So yeah, he's just a really phenomenal filmmaker, and I know a lot of directors like him. He pumped out just so many movies, but I think he was part of it was the Toho Studios. Is that the famous one that was in Japan? I think
Toho.
Thank you, Toho Studios. Yeah, I think he was part of that for a while. So, yeah. So that's my number 9.
Awesome. Rick, what's your number 9?
All right, number 9 for me, it's Francis Ford Coppola. You know, you got The Godfather, Godfather 2, Apocalypse Now, fucking The Outsiders. I mean, he's got a lot more. Started losing me after Bram Stoker's Dracula. But I mean, it's still good. It looks well. It's just sometimes your casting director can fuck you.
We all know why. It starts with a K, ends with a Reeves.
That's it. Well, I mean, not just that. I mean, it's not just. I mean, he fucked himself too when he casted his daughter in Godfather 3. So
yeah, true.
Other than like things where, you know, casting does fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
He does have pretty good work. I mean, visually, the guy he's a good storyteller. That's what to me a director is.
Yeah,
a director is somebody who's going to take words from paper and show you visually something and show you something visually cool. And Coppola's, you know, like I love The Outsiders. I mean, S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders is one of my favorite books growing up, and bringing it to the screen, I just that whole cast. That's the example of a good ensemble cast.
Yeah,
and a not so good ensemble is Bram Stoker's Dracula. I mean, I love Gary Oldman, but Keanu couldn't save that shit. And honestly, I know people love him, but fuck Anthony Hopkins is fucking
Van
Helsing. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I'll take Peter Cushing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we can't do much.
It's just you know, I just don't like his over dramatized. I don't need the guy from Mission Impossible fucking being the guy who's leading the Van Helsing, you know. So yeah, that's what gets me. But Francis Ford Coppola, awesome fucking film director.
All right, I fucked up on my list, so I have to bump JJ. Sorry, JJ. So I'm throwing out John Landis. John Landis is my number.
Yes.
Yeah, this list might change as it goes, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is just one of all the lists we do. Like you asked me a different day. So yeah, he did one of my favorite horror movies of all time, American Werewolf in London, The Blues Brothers, Trading Places. You know,
Coming to America.
Animal House, Coming to America. You know, and
Vampire
of course,
in Brooklyn.
he did that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Huh?
That's it. Yeah, he did that one. Yeah.
Three Amigos. You know, Spiders Like Us. You know, he just had his hand in like so many great flicks. Unfortunately, the accident on Twilight Zone kind of derailed a lot of his career, and he.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he got a guy killed on set, so it kind of.
Oh, come on, man!
That's Jennifer Jason Leigh's dad too. The one that got killed.
Yeah.
What was his name again?
Vic Morrow.
Vic Morrow. It was.
Yeah, that was her dad.
He was the coach for the Bad News Bears.
It was his fault, and the other what was it? The coordinator. They kept on telling
the coordinator.
Yeah, they kept on telling him to go lower, and they were telling him something bad's gonna happen, and something bad happened. So he still had a career after that, but not what it probably could have been if that didn't happen. But it definitely left a stank on his career. But if you want to look up the story, it's fucking pretty fucked up.
Yeah, definitely.
But John Landis he just had some great flicks. He had some bad ones too. But yeah, no director I think is 100%. There's a couple of guys that are close, but there's no director. Every director has a little,
they all have flaws, man.
Yeah, of course.
And I kind of like that though. I kind of like that they take shots and they take chances and they try to. I think that's what makes a great director. You're gonna try some shit that's out of your wheelhouse. Sometimes it doesn't work. So So that's my number 9. Let's go number 8. Number 8, Lori. What's your number 8?
Number 8 for me is Guillermo del Toro. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory for him. I mean, he's from Kronos to Pacific. This is what the thing is. Like he goes from something like Kronos, which was his first film, which was so out there and so artistic, to Pacific Rim, which is such a great action, monster movie kind of thing. And then you have Hellboy, and then you have Pan's Labyrinth, and he kind of bounces back and forth between these, action films or these comic book films, and then these incredibly beautiful, cerebral, spiritual movies of epic proportions. And his creatures just Pan's Labyrinth by itself, and Kronos, and Yeah, and Blade, and I mean Hellboy, and Devil's Backbone. All of it is just so incredible, and it's so funny too because he is so incredibly passionate about film and about comic books and about like fairy tales, and I think he's even more passionate about film than Scorsese, if that's even possible. But he just has such a love of storytelling and such a love of detail, and he's such a nerd when it comes to specific things, and that's that. He has such passion. Whenever you hear him talk about film, he has this incredible look on his face and this incredible love, and he's just such a beautiful soul, and his mind and brain is just so beautiful when it comes on film. So
awesome. Rick, what's your number 8?
So before I go to my number 8, I just wanted to say with Guillermo del Toro, I was so hoping that he would make like The Hobbit, and he was going to work on Lord of the Rings. I was so fucking hoping, just because of
one of those biggest what ifs, like
his bestiary that he has in his other films.
Yeah,
I was like, this is going to be dope. If he gets a property, like you said, he's a guy who is very nuanced. He knows his source material.
Yeah,
I would have loved to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would have been a completely
having to do
different.
with Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
It would have been great. Yeah,
it would have been great.
So it's gonna go down to one of those things like, oh man,
it's a what if.
Like the Hobbit movies are okay. Like
they're fun, dude. I mean,
you can tell they were rushed. They feel rushed.
Oh, the Hobbit one.
Yeah, the Hobbit.
It's not like the Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is it's classic.
Yeah. Surprisingly, Peter Jackson's not on my list. But
he's not on mine either.
Neither on mine.
Yeah, but awesome director. It's hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to pick all these guys.
Yeah, we love film.
It's hard to pick all these guys.
We love film a lot, so it's hard to like whittle these down because there's a lot of directors I like, but I just these ones I just love so much, like so it's
Well, like I said, the others fave. I have like 2 columns of the other faves on there, so it's like shit.
I can talk about all my other directors that didn't make Richard Donner didn't make my list, and I love Richard Donner.
We'll talk about that at the end, like who didn't make
kind
of was on the cusp.
There's a lot, okay, so number 8 for me is, I don't know if these guys made, and it's these guys. A pair of brothers, if you will. Oh,
the Coen?
The Coen brothers.
Oh, yeah. See? They didn't make mine, but they're definitely on my...
See, like I said, from my list, it's everything that it just catches me at a certain time. I still, I was talking about Raising Arizona just the other day to a customer. That's the first Coen's brother movie that I was, introduced to. It was me and my older brother. I think I was, probably 11 or 12 years old. And Raising Arizona is fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Hudsucker Proxy, fucking hilarious. People don't get it. Big Lebowski, fucking hilarious. Hilarious. And then they go do no Country for Old Men.
Or even before that, Blood Simple.
Blood Simple. Yeah. So they do have a departure from their comedic, their tendencies. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing.
Yep.
There's so many. If it's funny, if they're not making you laugh, they're making gangster movies. Fargo. So the Coen brothers, their sensibility, their humor, their dark humor. If you guys haven't seen any Coen brothers movies, they're gems. Go watch them. I mean, I tell people love looking at actors that they follow. I follow writers. I follow directors.
Yeah,
I do all 3, but same.
Yeah, I think it was more prevalent back in the day. Like now, it's there's only there's a few directors that really stand out.
Directors, yeah. Jordan Peele's one of them.
Like back in the day.
Sorry.
Whoa. Okay, that's
you're on the road right now, Lori. With that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm driving. That's Brando on his motorcycle. That's Brando on his motorcycle. Whoa, dude! What is
you got a sideshow right outside your door?
Something like that. Sorry about that, guys.
God, it's scary. Coen Brothers is a great show. Seeing him, Big Lebowski, when they're they're fucking spreading the ashes, and the fucking ashes blow back.
It blows back, yeah.
Every
remember,
scene in the Big
Well,
Lebowski.
not
man.
just that, but
that
like
scene particularly, I don't remember laughing as hard as I did when I saw that in the for the first time watching that scene. I fucking was dying seeing that. That's such a great fucking scene.
Well, and John Goodman is so incredibly good in that film, and he's good in all of the Coen brothers, but that one in particular because he just is such a completely out of his fucking mind in that, when he's just like
he's oblivious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Jeff Bridges in that one, but great.
And that was, I think, written specifically for Bridges too. That's the other thing. Yeah, as far as I know, it was written specifically for him. And they have great soundtracks too. That's another thing too. That their soundtracks are also really good too.
Yeah.
A part of my work playlist.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 8, Rushmore.
Oh yes.
Wes Anderson.
He almost made my list, man.
Yeah, his body of work is just great. I just love his sense of style, his like weird, quirky sense of style, his use of music. Again, a lot of these filmmakers, like music and movies go together so much for me. Like I've discovered so much music watching movies over the years. So yeah, music and movies are very important. But this is like Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic. Some of them, like not all hits like Jury Unlimited I wasn't a fan of, but Fantastic Mr. Fox was definitely animation. That movie's amazing.
Adrian Brody was in the Darjeeling Limited, so he hated it. Guaranteed.
That's definitely part of it. Yeah, that's definitely part of it.
But Fantastic Mr. Fox, I will agree with you on that.
That is an amazing movie. Yeah, if you've never seen that, it's a great use of stop motion and just a great blend of stop motion and Wes Anderson style.
Great voice cast.
Great voice cast, yeah.
Great voice cast.
That's another thing about Wes Anderson.
Great cast.
His casts are always on point. Like every movie that he does, except for Darjeeling Limited, has a great cast. Moonrise Kingdom, just a quiet little story about two kids in love. It's just it shouldn't be anything but Grand Budapest Hotel recently. Like his sense of style, the way he like uses miniatures for like in movies. The way his quirky sense of style is just amazing. I just love it so much. Yeah, Wes Anderson, man, just a great filmmaker.
The Coterie of the Midnight Intruders.
Yeah. One of the best. Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
If you haven't seen that, you should look that up, Lori. If you haven't seen that, The Coterie of the Midnight Intruders is this SNL bit that they did based on what a Wes Anderson movie would look like to them.
Oh, wow.
Wes Anderson directed a horror movie, pretty much.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
What was it? Owen Wilson? Wow. Oh, it's fucking great, dude.
Oh, it's fucking really good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that one. We're done here.
I got to add that to the fucking the notes here. The Coterie of the Midnight Intruders, man. That's a good one.
Let's see. We got some chats here. Honda Lori and Miller's Crossing is really good.
Yes, that's an amazing movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Mike. What's up, Pinball Mike? Mike's laughing.
Hi, Mike.
I think he's laughing at Lori's bike
accident. Probably. Brando's bike, exactly.
Yeah, he's like Fantastic Mr. Fox riding a little. Honda Lori and Rushmore, one of my favorites. Yeah, Rushmore is great. I love that movie. Yeah, definitely my favorite Wes Anderson movie is Rushmore for sure. But I think Fantastic Mr. Fox is a close second. I love that movie so much. All right, so
that movie's great, man.
Yeah, it's a really good. All right, let's go jump to number 7. Number 7. Top 10 directors.
Akira Kurosawa for me is number 7. I mean, again, he's kind of an obvious choice or obvious reasons because of, you have Drunken Angel, Straw Dogs, Rashomon, and then of course Seven Samurai, and Hidden Fortress, which we wouldn't have, Star Wars wouldn't exist pretty much without that film, and Throne of Blood, and pretty much. I mean, Lucas owes his whole fucking career pretty much to Kurosawa, but especially for him, the way that he, his blocking and some of the shots that he has are just, they're almost like paintings. They're or just these incredible landscapes, and especially when he works with Mifune, especially Toshiro Mifune, who those two go hand in hand. It's like Scorsese and De Niro. They just understand each other. They understand the camera. He understands the camera, especially when it comes to Kurosawa, and just his way of storytelling, his way of having these characters that are either misfits or outsiders, or just kind of not really part of society, but yet they're the anti-hero or they're the heroes. And it's just and I love that almost all of his films are black and white too. There's very few color films that he has, and he always has like weather also plays a huge part in his films, whether it's snow or rain or heat or wind or something. It lends itself to the characters, to the story, to his filmmaking, and how he can also not use too much sound. It's just the expression of the actors or the way that they're positioned. He kind of draws your eye to one side and the other, and how everybody is kind of almost positioned like chess pieces. And yeah, I mean, Kurosawa, like I said, Coppola and Scorsese and pretty much all the modern filmmakers, cite him as one of their influences. So he's definitely one of mine. So there you go.
Just again, one of those filmmakers has just had so much influence on so many other, so many other guys like Lucas and Spielberg. Man, they worship at his altar for sure.
Yeah.
What was the story? I heard a story about. I think they talked about in the Mandalorian thing where Bryce Dallas Howard went with her father Ron Howard on a trip to Japan to meet him, like have a dinner with him. So
he's still alive right now.
No,
this is like when she was like
she was a kid.
Yeah, she was a kid. She was like 5 or 6 years old or something like that.
She
She was really young.
She knew what was going on.
She remembers what they went to Japan to meet him, and like she was just like in awe, like her dad was like a big fan. So that's pretty cool. I think she's going to be a great filmmaker because
I love her too. Yeah, I think she's great.
She grew up around these guys. This is her childhood was running around like Lucasfilm sets and shit. So
the influence that the filmmakers who were around her is gonna be fucking.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
It's gonna be good for her. Yeah, Ron Howard, another one that didn't make.
I mean, her dad's a good director.
Didn't make my list.
Yeah, he didn't, but he's definitely one of my favorites.
We'll get to that. I got a list of all my directors that didn't make my list.
Yeah, me too.
Number 7, Rick. What was the number 7 on your list?
Okay, number 7. I know people are gonna be like, why is he not higher? So number 7 to me is Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh.
So yeah, people don't really have I love horror, and as a person who actually I do go into older. I watch movies before I was born. Millennials, I'm looking at you. I watch movies before the year I was born, and Hitchcock. Can you imagine what Hitchcock would have done with all the film tricks that are available
now? Yeah,
that's something I really think about. Hitchcock probably would have been the master of horror.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time.
They call him a father of suspense. He would have been the master of horror.
Yeah,
because he would have had everything at his disposal. He would have had guys like Tom Savini and Rick Baker at his disposal. So I mean, if people, you got Rear Window. You got The Birds. You got Psycho, North by Northwest, Vertigo. Just those 5 alone. And there's multiple others, but just those 5 alone, you could see every little bit of how those movies had such an effect on everything else in the genre. In a genre, suspense is taken from Hitchcock. Thrillers have taken from Hitchcock. Horror has taken from Hitchcock. And he's the father of just setting up the shot. It's horror movies. Back in the day, in the 80s, they would only they'd allude to something and let your imagination take over.
Yeah.
Now they just fucking show it to you flat out, which I don't think is scary as much as what can happen in here.
Yeah, the scary thing is what you don't see. It's like that's
exactly because it leaves your imagination. You're a sick-minded fuck if it's scaring you. Oh, and I love that.
My favorite Hitchcock scene is the end of The Birds when they're walking through the fucking all the bird when they're walking to the car with all the birds around them, and just how tense that scene is, how well shot it is, and and also another scene from the bird when you can see more birds coming onto the little playground, slowly, every time she looks, there's more and more, and just that little things like that. That
little nuances. And what could he had to wrangle birds and have a bird wrangler and do very practical effects, and then he did do some special effects, But just imagine if he had a full arsenal of what's available today.
Yeah.
That's what. If Hitchcock would be, Hitchcock was classic. Hitchcock would be classic.
Mhm.
Hitchcock would be he's an icon, but he'd be, well, he's a legend. I don't know what
Yeah.
more I can fucking like. I don't know how much more I can fucking like praise at the altar of Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, he also was very, very smart with, he didn't do like, stupid horror films. They were very sophisticated. They were very kind of, you almost didn't realize that they were horror films until you're like, it's too late to kind of go back. You know what I mean?
Psycho,
it's like,
Psycho was a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Or like a real window, like
Rear Window. Oh my god!
Mhm.
Can you imagine that? That's just a fucking horror movie, just looking out the back window of your fucking like apartment.
Yeah.
And Ray, I've been to your house. You can see other fucking places there, and just imagine if you would see shit. Just imagine
There's everything fun in this neighborhood, man.
But
I have my binoculars ready just in case.
It's voyeurism. I think before voyeurism was a thing.
Well,
that's
sure,
what,
but not put on film for sure.
Not like put on film, but like Rear Window was that one thing where you're like just one dude and his girlfriend just watching the back, in the back of what their little square of their block. It's amazing the shit that goes on if you pay attention.
Yeah. All right. So my number 7, I'm going with Mr. Martin Scorsese. Just a classic filmmaker. It probably should have been higher on my list, but this list changes all the time, man. Just starting off, Mean Streets, a great flick, Raging Bull, of course, Goodfellas, just all these great movies, Cape Fear, Casino, and he finally won the Oscar for Departed, which I thought was justified. That was actually, because he's just. People were saying, it was a makeup vote. No, like Departed was a really good movie. It turned me around on what's his name, DiCaprio. I know it's a remake of a Korean film, but he did a great job. I think he did a great job directing it, and he knows how to direct actors. He's he's an actor's director. He lets them like kind of envelop the role. And another guy that knows how to use music, like his use of 60s, 50s and 60s R&B songs in his movies are classic. Some of the best singing. The music makes it. So he's definitely one of those that knows how to use music and knows how to, use actors properly, and gets these guys out of retirement just to make these movies. Yeah. I don't know about his love affair with DiCaprio for like 10 years, but I think he could have switched it up. But he falls in love with a guy and he fucking uses him until he fucking.
Well, I don't want to hear about love affairs because Tim Burton still uses Johnny Depp.
Well, that's probably the reason Tim Burton didn't make my list.
Tim Burton should have made my list, but didn't.
Yes,
he's on that list. He's on that list.
I need to find it because I've done a top 10 directors list probably like 20 years ago, and I guarantee he's on that list.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
But I want to find that and find see how different it is.
You know what happened is bodies of work change at a point.
Yeah, and it's it gets to a point where your shitty movies are outweighing all the good shit you did.
Exactly.
He did, his run was pretty good early on, but then, that love affair with Johnny Depp and just doing all these, I don't know, his body of work for the last, 15, 20 years has not been great. So, all that has kind of outweighed his good work. That he had some great work, but outweighed it for sure. Scorsese, awesome. I'm sure it's going to be on some other list. So you guys can further talk about it then. All right, so please like and subscribe if you're watching the channel. Like the video because it helps with the algorithm, gets it out there in the zeitgeist. More people will watch. And put in if you're not watching the replay, put in the comments, man. Talk about your favorite director. Give us,
please do, man. Yeah, I mean that's a discussion.
I want to hear more people's. I want to hear people's opinions on this.
Anybody who's chatting right now, throw your favorite directors up there right now, just so we can talk about what you guys like too as well. Because I'm sure that you guys have directors
make fun
out
of
there.
I'm just kidding.
I won't. Maybe I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, you will.
I want to hear other people's directors because the thing is, there's so many guys that didn't make my list.
Yeah.
There's so many guys that didn't make my list.
Yep.
I'll be happy to say that we grew up in a very great age for movies. That 70s, 80s, 90s was amazing for movies.
Yep.
Too bad the streamers I think they kind of fucked everything up because it kind of like diluted shit.
Yeah.
The same way direct to video did back in the day, but I think even more now. So we'll get to that.
All right, let's go jump to our number 6 on your top 10 film directors. Lori, go ahead.
Ang Lee is actually my number 6.
Wow.
He just is, you know, from Sense and Sensibility to Ice Storm, which are 2 of my all-time favorites. Ride with the Devil, Brokeback Mountain, Crouching Tiger. You know, those are, first of all, most of them are Oscar winning. Secondly, the fact that here's a man who was born in Taiwan and can direct a British film better than a British director can. And he understands that whole genre, that whole kind of way of life. And the same thing like with Ice Storm, which is one of my all-time favorites, probably I would say in my top 10, which is one of the just incredible films about like middle America during this, I think it's during the 70s, and about swingers and, you know, swinging parties and have people having affairs. Kevin Kline, Joan Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Tobey Maguire. I mean, it's like this incredible cast. And the visuals, I mean, just like the opening scene is incredible. And I think it's the last 10 minutes of the film is probably some of the most powerful because there's very little dialogue, if any dialogue at all in that, but it's just visual. And of course, Brokeback Mountain, I mean, you know, that was groundbreaking.
It's a good movie, man.
And it just still, I think, is so beautiful. And the music in that, again, is just so incredibly powerful. And just the love affair between 2 men, two you know, guys who just happened to be where they were, and it just happened. And then, of course, go ahead.
More important than that is I want to say it's between 2 men, one who was comfortable with who he was, and one who wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think to me that's probably that's big time in the story because like the Heath Ledger, I forgot his name, but Heath Ledger's character really denied that whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, and
well, it was, you know, the whole stigma of you know,
of course,
especially cowboys and all that kind of stuff too. But then again, with Wedding Banquet, which is what he did, it's very similar where he had, you know, he had a gay landlord who basically, to appease his parents, gets married to one of his tenants. They kind of have this agreement, and then the parents, you know, decide to come and visit, and they're like, oh shit, what do we do? Like, we have to kind of maneuver it to make it look like we're actually married.
Like the birdcage.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
how you left off his greatest work, the Hulk.
Well, I kind of did that purposely because I know you guys would.
Actually, like visually, that movie's actually cool. I like what he was doing with the comic panels and stuff. Like, it's just design of the Hulk was that great, and they made him.
Is that his fault, or is that the CG crew that fucking worked on that film?
Oh, he's the director. He has final say on that shit.
He does, but I still think the CG. He just looked and it was like, oh, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah, he was like,
it would have looked cool to me and you. I'm telling you, probably, but we would have changed it.
We were fine. Yeah, first of all, he was too tall. He looked like Shrek. But the action, like the visuals and stuff, the ending sucked. But the battles, Hulk in the desert, and the use of the comic panels,
that was great. That was great. And then Crouching Tiger for me, I think, is still probably one of his most visually stunning films.
He did like you said, Larry. He went from doing a British movie better than any British filmmaker, and then he goes and does wuxia.
Yeah.
He does his own style wuxia movie. And that's fucking dope to me.
Yeah.
He's one guy who's dabbled in every single kind of genre, unapologetic and unafraid, and has fucking pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Ride with the Devil's a Western. I mean, it's a Western. It's got some great cast. And that's another thing, too, is he works with these incredible actors, too. I mean, Emma Thompson and, I mean, Alan Rickman and all of these, you know, and then Mark Ruffalo and you know, Chow Yun-fat and all these great people that he works with.
We're just listing actors at this point. Let's move on to number 6. We got to get through this list.
I'm telling you, this is
number 6.
That's a good pick, though. Ang Lee is fucking awesome. Richter is number 6.
Yeah.
My number 6 is Brian De Palma. You know, yes. I can't. What else can I say? I mean, he's done a lot of schlocky films. He's done, like, you know, The Fury, Dress to Kill. That's his early shit.
Dress to Kill is a great movie.
Yeah, but it's kind of schlocky. You know, it's different at the time. But then he does Scarface. He does The Untouchables. He does a movie like Carlito's Way. He does Mission Impossible, which is his action opus.
Right.
And I still, I don't care what anybody says, still my favorite Mission Impossible. Ethan Hunt is a fucking badass in that movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forget that he did that one.
Tom Cruise is a fucking badass. The close-up shots that he does in all his movies, fucking amazing. But the one movie that I think doesn't get as much love as everything else, Casualties of War. I still go back to this movie. It's a very powerful movie.
Michael J. Fox, right?
Michael J. Fox, John Leguizamo, John C. Reilly, Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, yeah.
It's a hard movie to watch. And this is why I have a thing against censorship. A movie like Casualties of War would probably be an indie film right now, and it would get censored because they don't want to deal with source material like that.
It's too real, man.
Well, the thing is, yeah, I get it, but you know what? This is where the medium of film is just so prevalent. This is a safe environment to show that what they're showing on screen is fucking wrong. And it puts you in the place of the spectator to let you know that it's wrong. You're sympathizing with Michael J. Fox's character to see that all the atrocities he's seeing is fucking wrong. And you're pushing him. Like, dude, come on, like fucking just say something. You're thinking that in your head. But it's hard for him because these are the people who have saved his life in the shit. It's a movie about the Vietnam War. So, Casualties of War, the one thing that was a draw for me, opening sequence, Michael J. Fox lives in San Francisco and is on the J train going through Mission Dolores Park. I don't know if it's called a San Francisco movie, but that was one of those things that's that opening scene for me. And then he just looks at somebody, which elicits a memory, a very, very powerful memory in his head. But then we're taken along for the ride, and I fucking love Casualties of War. It's hard. It's hard subject matter. He's done all these other movies, but check that out. I think Brian De Palma, he just kind of steps aside and is like, you know what, I'm gonna show you something that maybe you're not comfortable with, but you're gonna watch it.
Lauren, Dressed to Kill is a hidden gem. Yeah,
Dressed to Kill is definitely a hidden gem. I love that.
I'll have some more to say about De Palma in a minute. So my number, what were we at? Number six. Number six, Sam Raimi.
Yes.
Just one of my favorite directors of all time. You can go through his IMDb.
God damn it! He didn't make the list.
Dead. You didn't make your list. Surprising. Wow.
Dude, he's on my other faves.
he's on this other list, dude. Trust me, it was very difficult to put this list together.
Yeah, Evil Dead. Evil Dead franchise, Army of Darkness. Just going to Darkman. Just a Simple Plan. The Gift. Just these small he stepped away from the big budget movies. Quick and the Dead wasn't a big success, but a great.
I love it.
He kind of stepped away from that and kind of made these small little indie horror films that were great. And then he jumped, back to the big time, directing the Spider-Man trilogy. A third one was shit, but that wasn't his fault. They shoehorned him and directed a Venom.
He wanted to piss the fucking studio off, so he did, and more power to him.
Yeah, and so it's just his visual style, just his the shaky cam, he pretty much invented a style of camera work. We just two guys holding two ends of a 2x4 on a camera and running through the woods. Just that little thing that just made Evil Dead a super small budget indie horror film into a classic that people still talk about. Just finding these ways to shoot things. Just finding these techniques. And when you're watching a Sam Raimi, it's a Sam Raimi movie.
It's a Sam Raimi movie.
Like Spider-Man 2, when the birth of Dr. Octopus, man, just probably one of my favorite scenes, from a superhero movie or just any movie, really. Just a great scene.
Top 5.
It's a great scene. The birth of Dr. Octopus, just the way it just takes all the stuff he did in his previous movie and just put it all together with a huge budget and just made that origin just so spectacular. The way he uses the camera. And it's just a great visual director. Just some fun movie. There's always a sense of fun in his movies, no matter what. That was a Drag Me to Hell. And it wasn't my favorite movie, but I thought
I like that movie, man.
So well directed. And, he's directing Doctor Strange 2, which puts that movie on a whole nother level for me. It gets me super excited about it. So I'm Raimi with a budget again, playing in the MCU playground. That just gets me super juiced, super excited. Yeah, Sam Raimi, just classic director, man. Just seems like a swell guy too. And he's nice commentaries or like interviews with him. He just seems like wears a suit to set, and just he's an old school.
He's old school.
Yeah, he's an old school filmmaker. So I dig that about him. So yeah.
Well, just seeing when he was at the Comic-Con with him and Bruce Campbell, the two of them together at a frickin' panel was hysterical. I mean, because their banter together, and they've known each other 30 some years. They've been great friends since
college. Yeah, they were college.
So it's that kind of. It's the same thing like with Del Toro and Ron Perlman. It's like that kind of that brotherhood that they've had forever, that they can just banter.
Symbiotic relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, but sometimes it goes horribly wrong, like Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you have to get away from your safety net, and
that's true. You do, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So, Lori, what is your number 5?
Not my number 5 is David Lynch.
Good. That's a great one.
I mean, pretty much. Blue Velvet is still one of the creepiest, fucking whacked out, hysterically funny movies.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
so sorry.
And to hear actually Dennis Hopper talk about being directed by David Lynch was like being directed by How to Duty, because he was like solid gold, peachy keen, and you're just like, what the fuck? But that's another thing too, is you have at Blue Velvet Elephant Man, which still to this day is mind blowing that he did Elephant Man. Wild at Heart, Twin Peaks, Eraserhead, Dune. I mean, all of these great films that. And he's done like these great genre films as well, like with Dune and Wild at Heart. But he's just so, the visuals that he has. I mean, even in Blue Velvet, if you watch Blue Velvet, just the colors and the simplicity and the juxtaposition of, here's this white picket fence in this suburban town, and then you see a freaking cut off ear with ants and shit like all around. I mean, just it's a mind fuck is basically what it is for him, and he's so cerebral that it takes sometimes people kind of to go, what the fuck? Like, Twin Peaks is still out there and still will always be out there, but it celebrates the odd, it celebrates the different, it celebrates the kind of quirkiness of human beings and of human nature, I think. So he's definitely my number 5.
Right on. David Lynch.
Just so you know, I still don't know what the fuck Mulholland Drive is about. I've seen that
I don't
movie.
think anybody does.
I don't know. I don't think he does. I've seen that movie about 5 times. I love it.
Yeah.
The visuals are fucking crazy. Once the fucking lady starts singing on stage, I don't know what the fuck is going on after.
Yeah.
It's like 2 different movies.
Yeah.
So, and what's that guy? Justin Theroux, the guy who did Wonderlust? Yeah, he's in that movie, and he plays like a director. Awesome fucking actor, by the way.
Yeah.
But, that's a David Lynch movie that fucking just still blows my fucking mind to this day right now.
He does. He says that he uses a lot of his dreams in, like, he remembers his dreams, and he reuses a lot of that in his films, which is kind of like, okay, well, what are you smoking?
I'm sure he's doing some drugs at some point.
That would explain the little homeless man fucking falling out of the fucking trash can and then not knowing what the fuck happens afterwards.
Yeah. Or Bob in Twin Peaks, even though that was a complete mistake. But yeah.
Oh no way!
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about that? Oh, I'll tell you about it.
No, I'm gonna have to go look it up in a YouTube video or some shit.
All right, Rick, number 5.
All right, so you already mentioned him, Ray, and my number 5, dude. He was my number 1 for a long time.
Of course,
but no, Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, okay.
Stanley Kubrick is. I'm glad you mentioned him, Ray. He's very nuanced in everything he does. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows what he wants to show you.
Yeah, nothing's a mistake.
Nothing that's on screen is a mistake.
Yeah.
He's fucking with you from the very beginning. He's I love the performances that he gets from his actors. If you guys haven't heard the stories of him and Shelley Duvall during The Shining, go listen to him. He's an asshole. But the thing is, he's one of these guys that's a true artist. And so the movie that I want to talk about with him, because I don't think it really gets enough love. Everybody talks about 2001. Everybody talks about Clockwork Orange.
Oh,
I don't think anybody. Right. I don't think anybody talks enough about Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you once again, it's another Vietnam War movie, and it's pretty much two movies. One's the beginning where it takes place with the character of Joker. I don't think you ever really learn all of these guys' names. You just know them as their nickname. Mm-hmm. How you would a friend. Like if you were to go into a platoon, like me and Ray, if we didn't know each other, you know, he'd have a nickname that they would give him, and I'd have a nickname, and that's what we would call each other. Mm-hmm. And they'd have, you know, Private Joker, Private Cowboy. They learned about each other. So the first part of it is the boot camp, which mm-hmm. is fucking crazy. If anybody has ever seen this movie, Arlie Ermey probably should have got a Best Supporting Actor nomination. I'm not sure if he did, but he probably should have, because it was a little bit too real. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some Marines tell me that, oh yeah, that's not real, because they try to recruit you. Other guys are like, that's spot on.
Yeah, and he was an actual drill
sergeant. Was, yeah.
He came in as a consultant for the movie, and he did such a good job. Like, hey, let's throw him in the movie. He's like fucking too good to not fucking put in the movie. So that's how he got his start. It's Full Metal Jacket is amazing. It's a fucking amazing.
Full Metal Jacket is simply amazing. It's the cover of the DVD or the cover or the poster mm-hmm. is a perfect microcosm of the movie.
Yeah.
It's a Marine helmet with a button, a peace button, with written "Born to Kill." Mm-hmm. I think that right there is the perfect example of how a poster can really tell you everything you need to know about the movie, but you still don't know what you're in for until you actually fucking watch it. Yeah. So please, I implore everybody out there, go watch it.
I own it. I own it on DVD. And plus, I own it. D'Onofrio's character too, and that is just, you know, I mean, mind blowing how just I mean, you can't. Go ahead.
Yeah, me love you long time, so you know.
My favorite character in that movie is actually Rafterman, because mm-hmm. Rafterman, he starts out as this, you know, he's just a guy who's supposed to go along with Private Joker on this assignment. He really wants to go and be in the shit. Mm-hmm. And when Joker freezes up, who's the guy who saves him? Rafterman, because he has it in his head that he's trying to be this soldier, and he's after he kills like the person, he's all, woo! I can't believe I did it. Woo! And I'm sure that's what fucking
America shows. Right there.
Exactly. America, that's probably what shows like the Vietnam soldier experience. There was the guys who were fucking scared,
and there were the
guys who were just way too into it, like Platoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oliver Stone, by the way, didn't make my list.
Oliver Stone, yeah, that would have been. He probably would have been up there too.
Yeah, Oliver Stone didn't make my list.
My two faves, John McTiernan and Kubrick. McTiernan didn't.
McTiernan is great.
Yeah, he didn't make my list. He directed one of my favorite movies of all time, but he didn't make my list. But yeah, that's two good picks right there. Full Metal Jacket is my favorite Kubrick movie. I would say Shining is probably my favorite Kubrick movie. I would go Shining.
There's too many for me. Yeah, I mean, he's between Full Metal Jacket and then Barry Lyndon and 2001 and you know Clockwork Orange. I mean, it's I
gotta watch Clockwork Orange and Full Metal Jacket.
I gotta watch Eyes Wide Shut again. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, that's a
don't do it. I'm just saying that's the one. That's, you know how we say every director has his little sidestep?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was his sidestep, and it just sucks that was his last movie.
What was the last time you saw it?
Maybe about 7 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in like.
I try watching these things, and I'm telling you, some of them they don't hold up. And
I'm gonna watch it. And I haven't watched it in a while, just so give it another chance.
The music's great.
So I'll see Nicole make it.
Top 10 scores.
All right, so let's.
Of course you do.
My number 5. I'm going with Mr. David Fincher. David Fincher, a great director, great visuals. His style is definitely one I love so much. I love his going from 7 to The Game. Just like another one of those directors, who, like, you could feel it's a David Fincher movie. Fight Club. I think Fight Club is probably my favorite David Fincher movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even like a small movie like Panic Room, just the way
I like Panic Room.
Just the way he moved that camera around, the way it just like moved around the house and like it just like continuous one shot, of course using special effects, but just the way he moves the camera around and just the way and especially in Fight Club where he was fucking with the audience the whole time. Like it's like it was so meta at some points where you saw a couple scenes they spliced in and they explained that what he was doing, then it all kind of makes sense when you rewatch it and stuff. But it's just a great director. Zodiac, I revisited it. That's another one of those movies when I first saw it, wasn't really into it, and then revisited it and was like, oh man, this movie is fucking amazing now. Probably one of the best Bay Area movies of all time. Just captured that time period so well.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ones, like this movie shouldn't have worked. This should not have been a good, this should not, on paper, this shouldn't work, but Social Network.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
No, he's the best person to use Jesse Eisenberg, I tell you that. The music in that movie just blended so well. And a story of Facebook being created shouldn't work, that you shouldn't really give a fuck. But
you end up doing.
Yeah, the way he shot it, like there's so many things he does in that movie that just like the long shot that goes into like close up, just in one take, just using these like weird camera techniques that you don't really notice, like normal like movie fan wouldn't notice and wouldn't care about, but just looking into like the behind the scenes of making that movie, just wow, he just did some great stuff, man. And Fincher's just his visuals are always great, and like just anytime he does a movie, I still have to watch Mank. I haven't watched that one yet. That's probably like the one Fincher movie I haven't seen, so I got to watch Mank. I think that was on. Was that Netflix or
Netflix?
Yeah, I gotta watch that. Yeah, I want to watch that.
Still gotta watch that.
Yeah, I still got. So yeah, I've been lagging on that, but yeah, Gone Girl, like great. He's just a great use of camera. Just a great, he knows how to build tension. Like when a movie's supposed to be creepy, like Seven, he knows how to use that camera and the visuals so well. And there, every amount of screen is used in a certain way, and it's just his visual style is amazing. I just love David Fincher.
Well, even currently with Manhunter too. I mean, that whole thing, that was a great series.
That first episode, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Pulls you in.
Yeah.
Pulls you in. Pulls you in. All right, let's go number 4. Lori, what's your number 4?
So my number 4 is an old-time director, Elia Kazan. Is number 4 for me. I mean, without, he's just such he has more of the dramatic, obviously with Streetcar, Viva Zapata, On the Waterfront, East of Eden, A Face in the Crowd, Splendor in the Grass, which I think was Warren Beatty's debut film. But, he's much more of an actor's director. That's for absolute sure. And I know that a lot of some of the modern day filmmakers, cite him as one of their influences. And, he knew how to direct actors. He knew how to work with them, how to get the best performances out of them. And he has, there's certain, like there's a couple of scenes in On the Waterfront, especially with Brando, that he understood how to frame him, how to frame the shot, like the scene in the car, I Could Have Been a Contender. That whole scene is just such a brilliantly done scene because it's such a enclosed space, but the scene it works perfectly. And the way that the decisions that the actors make, and he doesn't poo-poo it. He doesn't say, no, that's not how it should be done. Just go through it. And especially that scene also again On the Waterfront when he and Eva Marie Saint are walking through the park and she drops the glove and Brando picks it up. That was not scripted. That was completely ad-libbed, but Kazan just kept going with it because he knew that Brando was going to do something fabulous with it, which he did. But yeah, I think Elia Kazan, especially also since he had a theater background, he understood actors and how to maneuver them and how to maneuver the camera correctly. So yeah, he's definitely someone who is, for me, one of the gods that I love. So yes, Elia Kazan.
Awesome. Ricky, what's your number 4?
My number 4 was your number 5, man. It's fucking David Fincher. So, like, the one thing about Fincher, like you said, dude, you're watching a David Fincher movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I'll tell anybody right now. The first thing you should watch when you're watching, if you want to know who David Fincher is, watch 9 Inch Nails closer.
Oh yeah.
Watch that video, and then go watch every movie that he's made. Everything goes back to that particular video. The camera hues that he uses, the any kind of stop motion. He used a lot of that motion in Alien 3, which is his directorial debut. I even tell people, you know what? I know people. Okay, the story was shit, but go and watch it just to see what that guy was trying to do.
Yeah.
Too much studio interference with. See, this is the one thing I love. It's just we know that David Fincher's a great director, and the studio didn't know it, but now they do. Mm-hmm. So go back and look when the studio interferes with the fucking great director, and to see he had gold, he was giving them gold, and they fucked it up. So and much like that, like you said, Ray, Fight Club. He made people feel uneasy. It's not a movie you want to cheer for those kind of guys, but you do because you're that guy.
Yeah. Or you're laughing at the most inappropriate parts. You're like, I shouldn't be laughing.
And just as far as the history of San Francisco goes, Zodiac is amazing. I really do love that movie. The one thing I think that's lost is the editing and the time lapsing when they do the time changes. It's played to a song, and they show you a time lapse like a building going up, like when they're playing I think they're playing Marvin Gaye, Inner City Blues, while they show the Transamerica building going up to kind of give you a sense of how much time is passing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Little shit like that. It's so good.
And that's what I love, because some movies will just fucking fuck with you and go 1975. This movie doesn't do that.
Right.
Gives you the song of the time. It gives you an event at the time of what's going on in the place. In the location.
You're transported to
yeah.
70s.
You really are.
It felt like it could have been made then. Like it's just So
yeah.
good.
I'm not the biggest fan of Jake Gyllenhaal as much as I was later on. I mean, I love Donnie Darko. I love fucking Bubble Boy. But yeah, it took me a long time to fucking really like him, and I liked him in Nightcrawler, and I liked him in Zodiac.
Nightcrawler is what's turned me around. I did not like Donnie Darko. Like I'm not a fan of it.
It's a sci-fi. It's a cult sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Some people like
Return. I love cult sci-fi. But
some people like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Some people don't.
That movie has its head. That movie has its head so far its own ass.
Oh, it does.
It's so far up its own ass.
It definitely does. But
Fincher's amazing, dude.
Fincher's amazing.
Definitely.
So Zodiac's. Look, I'm glad you mentioned Panic Room, Ray. A movie that can turn Dwight Yoakam into a fucking villain. It's fucking awesome. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So David Fincher, number 4.
Yeah, in a perfect world, he'll direct a Batman movie. That's in the perfect world.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh my god.
Perfect world, he direct almost every fucking a Punisher movie, an X-Men movie. Like,
I think he was rumored for X-Men. I think X-Men 3.
That'd be so great. Oh my god.
When you give real directors these kind of properties, you're gonna get real movies.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So my number 4 is Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma just fucking. Where do you start? Like Carrie, just like Carrie, a great original. It's a great movie, and Rick mentioned Dressed to Kill, Scarface. Just great use. And one of my favorite movies of all time, The Untouchables. Just the scene where they're in the church and they're having the conversation. Kevin Costner and Sean Connery are having a conversation, and where where he uses that camera where both people are one person's blurred or in the back, and he just uses you can see both people clearly. Just that visual style in those movies are amazing. Bonfire of the Vanities. He did.
Oh right.
Carlito's Way.
Yes.
Snake Eyes, underrated flick.
Very underrated.
Oh yes.
Very, almost ruined David Caruso's career. And Rick mentioned Mission Impossible. My favorite Mission Impossible, in that scene where he's getting the knock list and breaking into the Langley, when that tension in that scene. When I first saw that scene, I went back to go see that movie just so I could see the audience reaction in that scene. I stood up and chilled in the back because I wanted to see the audience react to that scene because I remember that scene was so well shot and just that bead of sweat coming down and just everyone's like asses just tensed up when that scene happened. It's just a great visual scene. Like his body of work last 20 years hasn't been great, but it still doesn't outweigh the great shit he did back in the day. So just Raising Cain, like he just so many great flicks, man. Just going through his Body Double, like he Blowout, Blowout with Travolta. That's another great flick. De Palma, man. I love De Palma. Just one of my favorite filmmakers. And he wrote the opening scroll to Star Wars, so it's.
That's right, he did.
Yeah, he was the one that wrote the opening scroll. He's just one of my favorite filmmakers. Just an all-time classic. He came from that school, the Lucas Spielberg school. Like that kind of that brotherhood that came up during that time. So just I wish he did some more stuff, but he's kind of slowed down the last couple of years. There's a great documentary, De Palma documentary. I own. It's pretty good, kind of going through his career and stuff, kind of how he started film school and stuff. Very fascinating stuff. Very cool. So check that out if you ever get a chance. So De Palma, number 4.
Dude, to go back to De Palma, dude. When Mission Impossible, I love that scene you're talking about. Everybody loves that scene. With the faces, I love the scene when fucking Kittredge meets Hunt for the first time in the restaurant, where he jumps out of the aquarium. But just that whole scene where he's just like, Ethan finally realizes that he's like, wait a minute, I'm being watched right now. Who's this person? Who's that person? And De Palma takes you around the room, and it's awesome. He puts you. He shows you the person that's in the restaurant, and then he shows you where Hunt saw him, or Hunt saw them in the opening scene when they're like trying to get the knock, or they're trying to like steal the knock list originally. De Palma knows movies, man. Yeah, and you're right. I want to see him do something, man. You know what? As much as they bring back what's his name, Christopher McQuarrie, to do Mission Impossible, fucking bring back De Palma to do a fucking Mission Impossible movie right now. Yeah. With an old and like cut fucking Tom Cruise's fucking hair back into that Ethan Hunt, the flat top, the crew cut, the military crew cut.
Yeah, he's fucking 80. Yeah, damn.
Is he retired?
I think so.
I'm sure he is, but I would love to see him do one more Mission Impossible because he can fucking do it. I love that that scene in The Untouchables, right? Like you said, how they close up on each scene when they're like sitting in that pew is fucking amazing. It's here and then it's here.
You directed Domino.
Yeah, the one with Keira Knightley, right?
No, not that one. No, it's a different one. It came out in 2019.
Ooh, what the fuck is that?
Oh yeah.
Or they directed a movie called Passion. He directed Black Dahlia.
The Black Dahlia.
Oh that wasn't very.
That was Josh Hartnett, right? Yeah, I don't like
Josh Hartnett and Ben Affleck. It was okay.
Affleck.
It was okay. I think it was Ben Affleck in that. Oh yeah, he did. I think didn't he play?
No, I don't think so.
No, you're thinking Aaron Eckhart.
Which movie am I thinking where he plays Christopher? Where he plays what's his name? Reeves.
Hollywoodland.
Hollywoodland. That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, Aaron Eckhart, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Hilary Swank. So if you're watching and made it this far, please like, subscribe, and follow the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you can know when we're jumping on doing these fun lists.
Orange Cassidy.
Cassidy. All right, let's jump to our number 3. Number 3, Lori. 3 on your top 10 directors list.
Number 3 is Francis Ford Coppola for me. I mean, obviously the Godfather. I mean that's all you basically have to just say is Godfather, but also Apocalypse Now, The Conversation, which is such a great film, which I completely forgot about. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he did do that.
Won the Academy for sound edit.
He did, and then Rumblefish, which I think was such a great film, especially the black and white, and then those little pops of color that he did. And I think Matt Dillon, one of probably his best roles that he ever did. Mickey Rourke, Tom Waits. I mean, the cast in Rumblefish is also just such a phenomenal cast. And one of my favorites too, also of his, is Cotton Club. I love the Cotton Club. I absolutely love that film. I mean, it's so stylized and it fits. If you didn't know what year that was done, you would think that was done in the 40s because of the way that and the cast in that is insane. I mean, you have Richard Gere, Diane Lane, what's his name, Bob Hoskins. I mean, all these incredible people, in Cotton Club, and I love the music and the jazz and the everything that goes along with that, and just the racial tensions of that film as well, and how it was so prevalent back then as it was, and the time that it was supposed to be shot. And of course, I loved the Dracula that he did, but then again, I surprise, I love Dracula, but Coppola has such also a love of film too, and especially with like Apocalypse Now. I mean, that still to me is one of the best war films, and one of the most twisted too. Especially if you watch like Hearts of Darkness, and which is the accompanying documentary that goes with that, and all of the stuff that he went through. I mean, the near heart attack that almost killed Martin Scorsese, and Brando showing up 300 pounds and, not wanting to work, and Dennis Hopper coming off of his drug high. And I mean, just, it's insane. But yeah, Coppola is definitely, and just Godfather. I mean, I can go on for, eons and eons and eons about that film, because how it's shot, and the scene at the toll booth with fucking Sonny getting just,
brutal.
That's one of the best. And that was done in one take. That's insane.
You left off his greatest work, Jack.
Hey, I like Jack.
Yeah, well, you're the only one.
Well, and what was that one that you had said? Is it Tucker, or what was the one that was with the Jeff? Was Jeff Daniels in that one? No, the one about the car guy. Was that Tucker? No.
Tucker, Man in His Dream.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, with Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. That's what it was. Not Jeff Daniels, but yes.
Because he's a car guy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Coppola's my number 3.
Right on. Ricardo, number 3.
All right. My number 3 is Martin Scorsese. Yeah.
Who? No, I'm just kidding.
Martin Scorsese.
Scorsese.
For everybody that's watched the Joker movie and they haven't seen King of Comedy or Taxi Driver or Mean Streets or anything that Scorsese's done, and you laud this movie like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go watch what this guy was trying to do. I think Scorsese was attached to do produce the Joker movie, or executive produce it.
He was gonna possibly direct it, and then he was gonna produce it, and then he pretty much just took his name off.
Its influence is still there. His influence is still there, definitely. But he's okay. Ray, I mean, I know he won for The Departed, and
should have won for Goodfellas.
He should have
won for Raging Bull. He should have won for Raging Bull.
Yeah,
I need to see I forget what won that year.
Raging Bull year.
Yeah, I need to remember what won that year. But
I know Raging Bull won Best Picture, but he didn't win Best Director.
Yeah, Goodfellas, he should have won whatever the fuck he needed to win. Everybody should have won across in Goodfellas. It was that movie was fucking great. I'm glad. You know what? I actually the kid that works with us that works with me at work, Johnny Action Figures. This guy just fucking watched. He just watched Goodfellas.
Wow, really?
And he was amazed by it. He calls it right now. He said he just watched that, and he just watched Godfather 1, 2, and 3.
That's awesome.
And it's fun getting to see somebody who's a young person getting to see these movies for the first time. Mm-hmm. I wish I could see them for the first time. These movies are fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. They're well made. Goodfellas is Gangs of New York is fucking awesome. And Ray, I know that you fell in love with probably that's where you fell in love with DiCaprio, and DiCaprio earned your respect.
Fell in love, but
earned your respect. But DiCaprio earned my respect in Gangs of New York. He's fucking dope.
Yeah, I think actually that's one of the few Scorsese movies I haven't seen.
He's fucking awesome. Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, and it's hard not to fucking get a great performance out of Daniel Day-Lewis, but Scorsese, he has his people that he works with, like De Niro and Joe Pesci. But the performances these guys fucking turn in for him, you can see that working with his friends is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because he gets some amazing performances. Casino, Cape Fear,
Mean Streets.
Scorsese. You know what? He dabbles in other things too.
Yeah,
he did Hugo. Hugo was a fun movie.
He did Kundun.
Kundun.
Yeah.
I don't condone this.
I would that do?
Yeah, he like the last few years he's been making like rock documentaries too. He did one for the Rolling Stones.
I saw that one, the Bob Dylan one. He also did Boardwalk Empire. He directed a couple episodes of that.
I'm waiting for him, and he people like Ray, you're wearing that shirt right now.
Ironically,
I have a feeling that one day.
Nope.
Nope.
Hey,
he never will. Nope.
Depending on the right thing. Imagine Scorsese directing The Punisher.
Nah, I don't think he would.
He never would. He never would.
Just imagine of what it could be. Once again I say a very good director taking a good property.
We'll see a Nightwing movie in Bloodhaven. That's what
the one thing that pissed me off about Scorsese is that he won for a fucking remake.
Yeah, see, like I said, Raging Bull. He should have gotten it for Raging Bull. As far as I'm concerned.
If he didn't get it for Raging Bull, he should have got it for Goodfellas. If he didn't get it for Goodfellas, he had a chance with it with Casino. But they just no love for him.
Yeah,
no love.
All right. So my third, Mr. Quentin Tarantino is.
Oh, interesting.
Quentin Tarantino. I love Quentin Tarantino. He just like, again, going back to the music thing. I discovered so much music watching his movies. He just like one of those directors, damn near perfect. But he's had a couple, not so great flicks. I think even was Death Proof wasn't the best, but it was. I think that was on purpose. But yeah, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. Just amazing. Glorious Bastards, just great. Like such a great film. Django Unchained. Hateful Eight, I wasn't a big fan of. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, oh man, I love that movie so much. I think I'm going to rewatch it again this weekend. But just a great, just a great movie. He does, and the knock on Tarantino, he stills, he's like, I like to think of him as a music, like
he's a good hack. He's a good hack.
Yeah, he's a good hack. Yeah,
he's a good hack.
He's like a hip hop producer, He takes these beats from
true,
like Dr. Dre.
He's the Puff Daddy of fucking movies.
Yeah. Take these beats, take these movies that he watch and he like he takes it and kind of makes it his own. And a lot of the time, and he's a film like preservationist too, because a lot of these movies he's pulling from. Like, people would never hear about these fucking movies. No one would know about a lot of these movies that he's pulling from. And he's bringing it up into the zeitgeist, and people know about these. He had a line of movies where he's, like, bringing all these Hong Kong kung fu flicks over that people would never hear of, but he's bringing these over and letting people know about these things. So, just from that point, just his writing, his dialogue is just so crisp and rapid, and it's real. The dialogue, it feels like conversations we've had, and like barring the use of the N-word every 5 seconds, but his filmmaking style is great. Just he blends like was it Once Upon a Time? It was like 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. You don't feel it; it just fucking flows by quickly. Like that's like a sign of a good. Like you make a 3 hour movie and it flows like that, like nothing. That's a sign of a great filmmaker. And he's supposed to do one more flick. I think he said he was going to be 10 and done, which I don't really believe. I think he's going to say that and retire for a couple of years and come back if he gets the right itch. But Tarantino, he's just he's just amazing filmmaker, and I'll see whatever he directs next, and hopefully I'll love it. But so far he's pretty has a pretty high percentage for he's only done 9 movies, but I think only 2 of those out of those 9 are kind of questionable, but still watchable, but still just a great filmmaker. He's just the man. So yeah, I love seeing him all. I love seeing interviews with him too, all coked out and all crazy and unapologetic. He was doing an interview. I think he did an interview with Rogan the other day, and he was people were still bitching about his use of Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's like, hey man, it was a known fact that Bruce Lee did not respect stuntmen. He was like kind of an asshole towards stuntmen, and stuntmen were American stuntmen. So it was kind of known fact. And he's like, yeah, his daughter spoke out against me. And you know what? And that's his right. That's his daughter. Yeah. So it's like she can talk shit, be mad and talk shit. Everybody else suck my dick. He's actually said that on Joe Rogan. So
suck a dick.
He said, go suck my dick. So Tarantino, he's the man. All right, so we got a couple of chants here. Let's see. Krista, Michael Mann, Heat. Oh, Michael Mann's a great director. Yeah,
he's on that list. He's on that list of
the
people who make
list. It. Yeah, Michael Mann's great. Yeah. I need Honda-Lorian. I need to watch a bunch of these classic movies you mentioned. Yeah, I'm creating a list right now of some of the movies you guys already mentioned. So I gotta watch some of these, rewatch some of these movies, or just watch it for the first time. The Honda-Lorian, 1980, I believe. Raging Bull didn't win Best Pick. De Niro won Best Actor.
He did, yes.
Yeah, but who won Best Picture?
80. Who fuck was 80? I can't tell. I'm not a big Oscar connoisseur. Pinball Mike, Quentin Tarantino's top 3 for sure. Yeah, he's just classic. He's definitely in my top 3.
Kramer versus Kramer. Bullshit.
Thank you.
Should have been Empire Strikes Back.
Bullshit.
All right, let's go. Look at Rick's face. Disappointed. All right,
But Apocalypse
real
Now,
quick.
that was an Apocalypse Now year, just so you guys know. An Apocalypse Now shouldn't.
That was 19. Well, no, that was 1970. 1978 or 79 was when Apocalypse Now came out. 78 or 79. Anyway, regardless.
But I'm talking about the 1980s nominees were Apocalypse Now. So are we talking 79 or are we talking 78?
All right, no, we're talking number 2 on your list. Lori, what's number 2?
Hold on, I think something's going on. Okay.
Out there.
You got another
back?
Fucking revving up. You never left, Lori. You never left.
She got another sideshow out there.
You're a little glitchy.
I'm glitchy?
No, Lori is.
Sounds like robots. Okay, we're
robots.
back.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, there we go. My number 2 is Martin Scorsese. That's my number 2.
Okay.
I mean, for all the reasons that we've already listed, Mean Streets, I think is still one of my favorites of his, because it's just that whole 1970s New York, and Robert De Niro's character is just so good in that film, because he's just this kind of, I don't know, you can't really describe him. He's like this mook. He's like a fucking mook, he's like that typical Italian, hey, oh, wait, kind of thing. And back in New York, and Harvey Keitel and all of the actors that he's used in all of his other films, like Raging Bull and Goodfellas and Casino. And the thing I love especially with Raging Bull, and I recently watched that again, is the visuals in that film. To me, that is one of the most visually stunning films. I mean, the scene when De Niro's just getting his, ass pummeled.
The fight sequence.
Yeah, and the fight sequences, and then how the camera movements, and just even that opening sequence, with him doing the shadow boxing and that beautiful music that you have, which I can't remember what the name of the piece, that it was a beautiful classical piece. But the scene when after De Niro's character gets defeated, you see the blood on the ropes. But the weird thing is, it's not center, it's off center, but you see it dripping from the ropes. I mean, that's just insane. And the black and white and how intense that is. And the scene also, for me, I think that's one of the most visceral scenes, is when De Niro's character is in solitary confinement, and there's that ray of light that comes in, and he just starts like punching the wall and just starts sobbing, and it's just like, oh my God. I mean, that intensity is just so incredibly brilliant. And then, of course, Color of Money. I forgot he did Color of Money. I'm like, oh
Color
my
Money's
God,
great.
that's right. You know, I mean, to bring back one of the most quintessential, you know, actors of Paul Newman to kind of come in and
It's a sequel.
And to kind of reprise his, you know, role in Hustler and kind of pass the torch on to Tom Cruise's character in that film is so great. And the way that it's shot too. And again, the music, you know, with Eric Clapton and the Rolling Stones. And that's
the Warren Zevon scene, the Warren Zevon Werewolves of London scene. That's
exactly. I mean, that whole thing.
Great.
And just, you know, I think this Scorsese is one of my favorite also filmmakers because of his soundtracks that he uses, music. Especially in Goodfellas too, when he has I mean, just everything, and it fits so perfectly in the films. They're so strategically placed, and he has such an eye for detail and such an eye for dialogue too. I think, especially in Goodfellas, which I think is still one of the greatest gangster films ever. And I read the book too, and it's so wild to read the book and then watch the film because it's almost verbatim. Like when I was reading the book, I had Ray Liotta's voice in my head because you can't not have it in your head. But just like the little details about, you know, the cars and the costumes and I mean that scene in the car when you know they're Billy Batts is trying to get out of the trunk, and then they open the trunk and they just or they're having dinner at Joe Pesci's house, which is Scorsese's mom, and they're sitting there talking and just having a regular dinner, and Billy Batts is in the freaking trunk. It's like what
But more importantly than that, in that scene, they're making fun of, like, look at who in that picture. Oh, looks like just like that. They're talking about the guy they just killed, looking at him in a fucking picture.
And the thing about that is I've done so much research on mafia, because the mafia to me is it's a fascinating lifestyle, and that actually stuff like that actually happened. I mean, there's documented proof that shit like that actually happened, where they're going to have dinner after they just fucking beheaded some guy, you know, whose body's in the trunk, and they're trying to figure out, you know, I mean, it's insane. It's just like, what the fuck? But he's just like, you know, can I borrow the knife? I gotta get rid of the hoof, you know, the paw, the hoof, the foot. That's like,
ew.
or my favorite scene probably in that whole film is like, what, you think I'm a clown? You think I'm funny? I amuse you? I mean, that whole scene is just with Pesci, just, it's still kind of jarring because you're like, holy fuck, like, is he going to snap at any minute now? Like, what the fuck's going on? So, so Marty, go ahead.
It's just great. He's a legend. He's a fucking legend for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. All right, Rick, number 2.
When she says, like, about music being used and Scorsese, the ending to the Goodfellas with the Layla exit by Derek and the Dominoes is probably still one of the best.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah, it's a great scene.
That music fucking stays with you. Or no, it wasn't at the end. It was when they were starting to find all the bodies.
Yeah.
After the Lufthansa heist.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. After they find Frankie Carbone hanging inside the fucking the cooler in
frozen solid. Took him 2 days to thaw him out
for the autopsy, which is great. I mean, people need to go back and watch those movies. So number 2 on my list. Ray, your number 3 was my number 2.
I forgot as much.
Quentin Tarantino. Oh, well, Ricky is that, you know, the freaky Quentin Tarantino film studio. You know, his dialogue, it's, you know, as far as when it comes to using the N-word, the characters that he writes, that's how they talk. In their world, that's the way they talk. I'm sure, and you know what? I've heard people talk like that. Like, if it's just a matter of fact, if there are no cameras around or nobody's recording shit or pretending that they're going to fucking tell on them, that's just the way people talk. And I appreciate that because it's unabashed, it's unapologetic, it's uncensored. That's just the way life is. And that's why we look at some of his, you know, almost all his dialogue across everything. Mm-hmm. It's just the way people talk to each other. Like like you said, right? There's a conversation that we hear in those movies, and like, oh my god, that's just the way we should record ourselves and fucking just use this shit as dialogue. one of my favorite scenes in any Tarantino movie is Inglourious Bastards. Michael Fassbender at the table scene inside the cantina. The German 3 versus, you know, what? How was it? This is the way they do it versus this. And I just love the small nuances that somebody would notice. Inglourious Bastards, Reservoir Dogs, fucking music again. What we talk about, music. I still have Stuck in the Middle with You.
I was just gonna say that. Yep.
Strawberry Letter 23. Just what is it? Ode to Oren Ishii. You know, the 5, 6, 7, 8s. It's he knows his music, and people can call him hacky or whatever. This is the kind of guy. I wouldn't say he's a hack. I say he's a film fan that's paying homage to shit that you've never fucking watched. So pay attention.
Yeah, he reintroduced Dick Dale to a whole fucking new generation of people with Misery Loop.
Right, with Misery Loop. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, then if you, speaking of Tarantino, he wrote True Romance, which is one of my favorite films.
He wrote scenes out of what's it called? Natural Born Killers.
Yeah,
the whole prison scene.
He wrote the movie.
He wrote the whole movie.
Yeah, he wrote the whole. But he wanted
the majority of it.
He wrote, he wrote the script for the movie, but he didn't like what Oliver Stone was doing with it, so he took his name off.
Okay.
He was a script doctor on a couple flicks too. He was like Crimson Tide. I think he did some script doctor.
Oh yeah, probably.
John McTiernan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's yeah, okay. But yeah, Quentin Tarantino, he's unapologetic, and you know what? You know, he might retire. I don't know if he makes a Star Trek movie, if that's going to count. And that's what I think. He's going to maybe retire from doing original things. Yeah. But just imagine him fucking being able to do whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck. What was his name? Todd Phillips? Fuck you, Todd Phillips. I want to see a Quentin Tarantino do a Joker movie.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, he was talking about possibly doing a James Bond movie. Like he's a big James Bond fan. I would love to see.
Interesting.
I'd love to see a James Bond from him.
That would be interesting.
He's Star Trek. He says he's still going to do his radar Star Trek, which I definitely want to see.
Yeah.
But dude, if fucking Tarantino tells me he's doing the Thundercats, I want to watch it. So yeah.
Yeah, he directed an episode of ER. I remember that. That was pretty fucking.
He was in an episode of Golden Girls as well.
Has he directed The Simpsons yet?
He directed an episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live back in the day, which is
no shit.
Yeah. well, he kind of like did it in his style. It was pretty funny back in the day. Yeah, I remember that episode visually. Mandalorian. I'm a foreign film snob, so I got to mention Zhang Yimou, To Live in Shanghai and Triad are great films he made with his muse Gong Li. Also, Mexican directors, the big three, Alfonso Cuarón and Inarritu, and name escapes me. I'm thinking
probably Del Toro.
Del Toro.
Yeah, those are the top three.
Inarritu's good. Kevin Smith was on my list, but the thing is, the best thing he's directed to me is Dogma.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
I love it. His first first 5 movies are great, but he never really grew like as a filmmaker. Like he kind of stuck. And then he tried a little bit. Like actually, Red State was actually pretty decent.
Red State was good, man. Yeah, after multiple viewings, Red State's good.
Cop Out
today. Red State's great.
Cop Out. There's a lot of issues with that movie, especially fucking Bruce Willis not giving a fuck. I just wish he kind of like grew out of his like little comfort zone, and he did. But he's making these like weird indie films that. Basically, he's making them just for himself, which I can respect, but I don't know. I thought he had so much potential to be something more than he was.
Yeah.
He just never had confidence to like break out and do something really badass. So Kevin Smith, has a personality, and his first like 5-6 movies I really cherish and love, but yeah, he just never had the real growth. It's Doug. What's up, Doug? He's real, not woke. Tarantino.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Well, they've been trying to cancel Tarantino for years, so like
fuck that shit, dude.
Cancel proof. All right.
That's proof.
He is different.
He's
All
different.
right, all right. So let's jump to the big numero uno.
No, what's your number two?
Your
You
number
didn't.
two.
You didn't mention your number two.
Whoops. Thanks, Laurie. See, you're on top of it. My number two, Jonathan Carpenter. Big Jonathan.
Yes.
Just one of the great filmmakers, man. I love his style. I watched his first film, Dark Star. It's a weird fucking his first student film kind of thing. I own it. It's weird. It's a weird fucking movie for me. But going through his list, Assault on Precinct 13,
Oh yeah.
Halloween, the Elvis movie, TV movie with Kurt Russell, The Fog, Escape. Yeah, he did.
Really?
Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness, They Live, Memoirs of Invisible Man, Body Bags, In the Mouth of Madness.
He ventured out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
After that, it was kind of hit or miss on some vampires. Not a big fan of Ghost of Mars.
Yeah. I like Ghost of Mars. Man.
I think Ice Cube kind of ruins that movie for me. If it was supposed to be originally Escape from New York,
Escape from Mars,
Escape from Earth, or some shit, it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think if you put Kurt Russell in that role, it'd probably be a lot different. But yeah, that's but John, it's just his use of blending humor and him doing the music for his films. We went a couple of years ago to the great see him and play in concert where he played his music from his movies with all the stuff with the movie in the background. But the Thing is just a classic filmmaking. Just a great that scene where they're all testing the blood in the base, trying to figure out who the alien is, who's not the real person. That scene is just so well shot, and so he does it's just his use of practical effects too. He was using them up to his last few movies in the 80s. And just using them well. That's why I love practical effects from John Carpenter movies. He just blends, making Roddy Piper a fucking star. Just making him a badass movie star. Just his use of actors. He would go with these off kilter picks.
Mm-hmm.
He used what's his name was it Prince of Darkness? Cooper? Why am I the musician? Fucking Alice Cooper.
Oh, Alice Cooper,
yeah. Yeah, just using these weird,
he was one of the fucking homeless people walking around and shit.
Yeah, just using these weird, obscure people that you wouldn't think that would be good actors, but you get something out of them, So I just love his sense of style, his use of his own, him making his own music, and just the weird, quirky style he has, man. I just love John Carpenter so much. He definitely has an influence on my style of. If I was a filmmaker, he would definitely be my what I would kind of strive for. So I love his body of work is amazing. Just his run in the 80s, from 70 from the mid 70s to late 80s, just a hell of a fucking run for sure. Just that span of movie, just legendary, man. He's just one of my favorite directors. The way he shot Escape from New York, just with the matte paintings and stuff, blending special effects and just the way his visual style is just amazing. I love me some John Carpenter.
Easy fucker.
Can't do it. Don't cancel him. Honda Shanghai Try It is really good. I have DVD. All right, we'll take your word for it, Honda. Let's see. All right. Now let's for real.
Number one. I mean, it's funny. The 1 and 2 were kind of are interchangeable for me, but my number one, and I think the one that I've owned the most movies of, and or is still a huge influence on me, is Billy Wilder for me, because his films, I think, also. The fact that this man, when he came to this country, knew about a dozen words of English and wrote some of the best screenplays probably ever. And I mean, Double Indemnity, Some Like It Hot, The Apartment, Sunset Boulevard, Lost Weekend, Sabrina, 7 Year Itch. I mean, they're all such iconic films. And the one thing I love so much about his movies is that his male characters are just they're everymen. They're kind of schlubs that they kind of go through life, but then something happens that completely changes them, and it's like this redemption that happens in the film. it's like with Sunset Boulevard, you have Joe Gillis, who is basically a down and out, screenwriter trying to make ends meet. And in order to save his car from being repossessed, he drives into this house, which he thinks is abandoned. And then it turns out, is owned by a silent screen star who hasn't been in the limelight since 20 years. So, and then you have Double Indemnity, which I think is still one of the best film noirs around, with Barbara Stanwyck and Fred McMurray. And, the fact that he has in Sunset Boulevard, it's narrated by a dead man. I mean, how insane is that? It's like, okay.
What a twist.
Exactly. And the fact that, still Sunset Boulevard, what he and the fact that he did a movie about Hollywood that's still very prevalent today as it was back when it came out, that was risky for his career, because they could have ended his career and said, you're never going to work again, because of what it exposed in Hollywood and how corrupt and how bad it was towards women, older women in the business, and what it actually does to people. And yes, I mean, 7 Year Itch is still, the iconic Marilyn Monroe scene. That scene is still one of the most iconic scenes I think ever. Some Like It Hot, which is, according to the American Film Institute, the greatest comedy of all time, which I agree. But I mean, that movie was ahead of its time. You have Jack Lemmon, you have Tony Curtis dressing up in drag to escape the mob. I mean, it's just such a brilliant film. And the lines in that is still, when Tony Curtis says to Jack Lemmon, "Why would one man want to marry another man?" He's like, "Security, like duh." I mean, his dialogues are it's so brilliant and so perfect. Yeah, and it's like you were saying, it's like regular conversation, the way that they talk, and you have to sometimes really listen, because there's such subtlety in his dialogue as well, and his visuals. I mean, the black and white, or the way that he has the costumes, and or the way that he positions his actors is just so brilliantly done as well. It's very much like Kurosawa, how it's done deliberately. So that's my number one, Billy Wilder.
Cool. Ricky.
Sorry, I'm disappointed you didn't mention like Stalag 17. Stalag 17.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Spirit of St. Louis with fucking Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah. Those are really great too, but those are not my favorites of his, but they're still excellent films. Yes.
He's got body of work. All right.
That's still pretty much unmatched.
Number one, Ray, feel free to jump in anytime you want on this one. I'm pretty sure our number one is the same one. Yeah. Spielberg.
Senor Spielbergo.
And Lori, I know I heard you besmirch the name of Spielberg earlier when you said, he does action very well. He knows how to do he knows how to do drama too, and he knows how to do feeling. That's you.
I know.
That's you.
Hey, Color Purple, man. He brought some feels out in that fucking movie. Like, yeah, that's underrated.
Dude, I still remember watching that in fucking class. And you know what? Maybe that's what it is. It gets me at a different time because I'm watching it as part of my class project, and I'm like a captive audience, and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking dope. Not dope what I'm watching, but the actual way everything is portrayed to you. This is a good movie. Mm-hmm. Good movies are supposed to elicit emotion, and as for every Jurassic Park Minority Report, dude, he gives you
Schindler's List.
Not Schindler's List. It's the other one.
Road to Perdition.
Amistad's good, dude. No, it's World War II. Why can't Saving Private Ryan? Saving Private Ryan is fucking epic, man.
That should have won Best Picture instead of
that should have won Best Picture. It's an amazing movie. It really is, because just that opening scene it gives you the sense that you're in Normandy. I'm on the beach with them, and that's what I mean when it comes to a director bringing image from paper to screen. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody does it better than Spielberg. everything like with ET, every show, everything with Jaws, everything that he shows you when he shows you, it's like it's perfectly set. You know, you can laugh and guffaw, but it's what it is. It's when it catches me.
No, I mean, you know, I
was 5 years old watching this.
Yeah,
he is a filmmaker. You know, he knows how to direct the scene and make everything kind of count too. He's just one of those, like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, man. Just those scene, like that scene where they're going in, walking into the desert, and they're you know, the people are like, you know, there's humming this the song from space, and you know, you just get the shot, and then they're asking, hey, where did this come from? And the dude yells out, where did the sound come from? They all point up, and that just that little visual right there was so good. Like Indiana Jones, just like, you know, you could tell that he was inspired by those serials he watched as a kid, those B movie serials as a kid, and you feel like you feel like a kid when you watch those movies. That's why people give Kingdom of Crystal Skull a shit, but I think it was a fun movie. You felt like an adventure movie.
It's still an adventure movie.
Yeah,
it's still fun. You know, in Jurassic Park, like at this point, like when he had a couple like kind of some misses always, and then Hook wasn't well, like
I love Hook.
I love Hook too. But coming back with Jurassic Park and just kind of like reminding people, hey, I'm fucking Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I can still put fucking butts in the seats. You know, when hold on to your butts, because anytime you're gonna watch a Spielberg movie, especially in his early times, you're gonna have a fun adventure time. And you know, just he could do the serious, like Rick said, he could do the serious stuff. He could do Amistad, and then he would do the fun, like schlocky, like Ready Player One, a good example. I love that movie. Yeah. Of course, I talked about it before, but like Minority Report, I think is an underrated flick because he switched up his like style, and you know, he using different cameras and made it look a future, like his version of the future, pretty accurate. And I think it's a great movie. And he does like a fun adventure, Catch Me If You Can, like a great little.
That's a good one.
You know, doing like movies like The Terminal too, like a movie that a quiet, like almost
I fucking love The Terminal, dude.
Yeah. And another, you know, he's not 100%. When you make these many movies like he's done,
you're gonna
miss sometimes. But
yeah, I mean, all of our picks have like you said, have had hits and misses. So
like
it's just
Lincoln was great, great story in that. Like
Daniel Day-Lewis,
yeah, great, a much deserved Oscar for that because
absolutely
do anything pretty much. But yeah, just going through his, like, you know, starting off with doing a TV movie called The Duel, which is kind of a precursor to Jaws, pretty much.
That was a precursor to what Duel was. Maximum Overdrive, pretty much.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just like E.T. You know, just like all these movies like have like have stayed in that as icons and pretty much changed like pulp culture, really, because how many Jaws references have you seen? How many ET?
So that's exactly what I was going to go to, Ray. For as much as everybody knows the iconic scene of Marilyn Monroe, her dress going up and everything like that, everybody knows Elliot and ET's fingers touching.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody knows Indiana Jones running away from a boulder. Everybody knows Close Encounters of the Third Kind when you see the big mountain and all the lights fucking just leaving. Everybody knows the scene where the swimmer swimming in the Jaws is coming.
Well, I'm going to tell a quick story real quick. That when I was working at a video store, and what I used to do when the video store was full is I would put on Jaws. And on the movies on the screens, the entire store would stop and just be transfixed watching that, because it is still, like as I said before, it is still one of the most harrowing scenes ever, because you don't know what's going on underneath, and that's what makes a good scary film, is you don't know what the hell's happening. And the fact, and also in reality, that she actually did break her hip and she was in fucking pain when that was happening makes it even kind of more of a just terror. But I will never forget that the entire store just stopped and was like, and it's such a great testament to how good that film is and how it still holds up.
Still my most watched movie of all time.
Yeah.
And going back to Jurassic Park, that scene where the raptors are in the kitchen area, that scene is so greatly shot. Like when the raptors are chasing the kids inside the kitchen, and you see the girl in the girl's. You find out it's a reflection, but the raptor sees the girl struggling to close the door, and he runs and runs. And you're like, oh shit, and
bam,
backs right into the thing. It was a reflection of her. It's just like little shit like that. Just those little scenes, like in the scene where they're in the car,
or even just a cup of water.
Yeah,
just a cup of water. Yeah,
yeah, the scene where they're in the car and you see the boom. You just see the and they did that by putting a guitar string through the car and plucking it. So that's how they got that.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's how they got that. It's just like little shit like that. And he's just an innovator. He just he's the guy. He's really the father of a lot of the modern special effects, because they wanted to use stop motion. And stop motion would have been cool. And some of the test footage they did, but it's like, now we got to do CG, and he took it. He took the risk, and it paid off. And Jurassic Park still fucking holds up.
The other thing I want to mention when it comes to Spielberg that I think is very underrated is his work with child actors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you have Henry Thomas, you have Drew Barrymore, you have Christian Bale,
the kids in
Empire from the Sun.
The kids in Close Encounters, man. That scene. Another great scene with kids. When in Jaws, when Brody's
kids,
when he's talking to his kid, and they're having, and the kid is like mimicking when he's drinking the wine, and he's kind of mimicking his father, and it's like that's a great fucking scene.
I bet you he had that scene with his probably his own parents.
Yeah, and a lot of. And the thing about him, they stand the test of time. These
absolutely.
Still being talked about. You can show, so somebody Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they're going to have fun with it. And he's a timeless director.
Like I said, I just showed Johnny like a lot of the Indiana Jones stuff, and like I started trying to tell him, like, dude, you know what? The fact that he watched Goodfellas 2, the fact that he just watched The Godfather, I'm like, dude, now that I'm like trying to lay the groundwork out for you. Pay attention to directors, not as much as you would, the trailer that you see that's fucking flashy. Because Fast 9, as flashy as it is, it will never be on the level of a movie as anything that we talked about today.
No, not even close.
Come to me in 20 years and ask me about the Fast franchise. Like, oh, that was a fun night. Dude, you all run together. They're all
you could come at me tomorrow and I'd tell you, and we could capsule that and go 20 years. And I'll take the Pepsi challenge against that shit.
I'll be long dead before then. Yeah. He just, his movies stand the test of time, and especially he's not perfect. He has some
perfect.
He has some stickers.
And I agree with everything that you've said about him. It's just he's not. I guess that, like, to me, his dramatic work just does. I don't feel it with him with his dramatic work. I just think it's over. It's like overly dramatic and not dramatic enough. That's just my opinion completely. But absolutely, I agree with you with Jaws, with Indiana Jones, with Jurassic Park, with all of those, because they have that realness, that realism, nostalgia, that kind of, like, you can, like you said, it transports you back to a place. Like whenever you hear the theme song from Jaws or from Indiana Jones, it transports you back to that place where you were when you first saw it or when you first heard that music. It just it fills you with such nostalgia, and it's like when I saw the Star Wars, hearing that same thing. It's like John Williams, that theme.
Fanfare, you fucking go berserk, and you're taken back.
It's transported, and it has that feel that you can touch it and feel it, and it's I have nothing against him as a director on that genre. It's just the drama stuff I have.
For me, I'll tell you, the thing that puts like Spielberg over the top is the amount of moments he continuously gives me.
Yeah.
It's just like you said, I can watch Indiana Jones and instantly I'm transported back to being a 6-year-old watching that movie with my dad. I can watch Jaws at any time. I'm that scared little boy sitting Indian style in front of the TV thinking I'm watching KBHK. Yeah. E.T.
It's called indigenous style, Rick.
Yeah, it's like E.T. Like I remember like that was my wonderment as a kid. Like the way Elliot feels, that's the way I would feel as a kid. Like, oh my
God. Or every time you picked up a Reese's Pieces, you couldn't.
Still my favorite. Yep, still my favorite candy to this day. Still, my favorite candy to this day is Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, he's my favorite director. And like he's kind of like doing his own thing nowadays. He's 74, so he's getting up there. So he's.
I want him to make as much as he can right now, man.
He wants to do what he wants to do.
And then again,
he wants to make West Side Story. Like, go ahead, make West Side Story. Let's I'll watch it because it's Spielberg. I don't need a West Side Story remake, but if that's his passion project, that's what he wants to do at that point.
Russ Tamblyn is fucking the leader of the Jets. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. I agree. But then again, even like most of the directors that I named are, like Kurosawa and Elia Kazan and Martin Scorsese. I mean, and that's what's great. They're all friends, like Scorsese and Coppola and Spielberg and Lucas. Those guys are all friends.
They came from the same school.
So they kind of, that's another reason why. And like I said, I mean, I think Spielberg, he will always have that place on a list, but just not. He didn't break my top 10. So
yeah, I know. That's why I guffawed when you hit me with an honorable mention. I was like,
I could have had a couple others on my honorable mention, but yeah.
Fun, good list. I think a good list all around. How to Lori? Good luck, Lori. Meant good picks. Good luck, Lori. Good picks, everyone. Good picks, everyone. But I like Lori number one.
Thank you, Alex.
Did anyone mention Ron Howard? Yeah, we mentioned Ron Howard. Yeah, but he
didn't. Dude, I got Ron Howard, John Woo, Wes Anderson, Akira Kurosawa, Tim Burton, Sam Raimi, John Carpenter, James Gunn, James Cameron, Richard Donner, Tony Scott, Oliver Stone, McTiernan, Barry Levinson, Michael Mann, Peter Jackson, Kevin Smith, Sylvester Stallone.
Zemeckis didn't make it.
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks didn't make my list. I love a lot of his work. Cameron is I like a lot of his movies.
Dude, he had when it comes to sci-fi movies, Cameron's one of the best, dude.
Yeah, but his body, he doesn't have that many movies though. Like really, I'm looking at his IMDb. He has like he's only directed like 6 movies, really.
Terminator
2, Aliens,
Abyss,
True Lies.
That's all you need, right? We said you have to have at least 5.
Yeah, I don't know. Avatar kind of turned me off.
Well, that's sick. That would be the 6th one, right? Those 5 right there, they hold up.
Who else did I have on my list? Richard Donner.
Donner
would definitely. And like this could change in a few years. You never know.
Like mine. I have Gus Van Sant. I've got Roman Polanski. I had
Polanski.
I have Spike Lee. I had John Cassavetes. I had De Palma as well. Penny Marshall was one definitely someone. John Dahl, Lawrence awesome. Lawrence Kasdan.
One of my it's on my alternate list.
I had Amy Heckerling.
Lawrence Kasdan, Jonathan Demme, Terrence Malick, Catherine Bigelow,
Jonathan Demme,
Sam Fuller, fucking William Friedkin, Sam Raimi, J.J. Abrams, Sidney Lumet, and Stephen Frears. Those were like some of the ones on my list. Sergio Leone. I mean, come on, sir, have fucking not have Sergio Leone on there too. So.
Carpenter was on my Carpenter.
Yeah, Sam Mendes.
Rick, I'm surprised Carpenter didn't make your top 10.
You know what? When it comes down to it, I had to look at everything, and it's like for Carpenter, I couldn't dump any of these guys for Carpenter.
Well, then none of you said John Landis either. I was very surprised.
Oh, he did. He did say John. He did say John Landis.
That was my 9th.
Yeah. He had John Landis on.
Oh, that's right, John Landis. That's right. Sorry, you did.
Yeah, John Landis is amazing, man. There's a lot of people that Frank Darabont.
Where did Ron Howard land? He didn't land on my list, but
he would be. Yeah, he was on my. I think I have Willow on my list too. Yeah,
a lot on there.
Yeah, Willow was great, and some of Backdraft. Yeah, he did some.
Backdraft's amazing.
Yeah, Solo was great. I thought he saved Solo.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he did that.
I like Gung Ho, man. I know it's not gonna hold up. People are gonna get mad, but Gung Ho is great.
Gung Ho is great. Yeah, I love Gung Ho. Mandalorian. Sorry, I missed some. Did y'all mention John Hughes? Rick, John Hughes is on your list, right?
John Hughes.
He was number 10. Yeah.
He didn't make my list, but yeah, he's definitely up there for sure. It's so many great directors, man. This is definitely a fun list to go through. And so we mentioned a couple guys that can possibly be on this list later on, like Jordan Peele, Ryan Coogler. I think it could be on this list.
Coogler's got legs, man. Nia DaCosta.
Nia DaCosta. It looks like she's going to be doing some cool stuff. There's some good upcoming. The Russo brothers. They might.
Oh yeah.
They're a few movies away from making that top 10 because they made some fucking bangers for sure. But I want to see like them do more outside of the MCU safe zone. That Cherry I don't think was greatly received. Or
Krasinski.
I
want to see more from. I think he's got another movie coming out too. So
yeah, definitely want to see some more of his work. Quiet Place too.
Sidney Pollack. I mean, Sidney Pollack's another one who's he was a great director as well. I mean, Jodie Foster is a great director. I mean, you have, someone like her, and then it's just there's so many that were on that, like you guys were saying. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And then as I was doing dishes, I'm like, oh yeah, and then this person and this person. It's just like
George Romero.
George Romero, George Stevens, Howard Hawks, John Huston. John Huston, Douglas Sirk, all the old Mankiewicz and all of those guys. I mean, it's just
Yeah, there's so many good directors. People.
Fred Decker. Fred Decker had some more.
Fred Decker.
Yeah, Fred Decker. If he had a couple more, he probably a couple more.
Ridley Scott. Yeah, Ridley Scott's on my list. Yeah, I mean,
Tony Scott,
exactly. Tony Scott. Yeah.
If he didn't direct those damn Transformers movies,
Michael Bay,
he would have jumped. I love his visual style, like The Rock and Bad Boys. Is amazing. Those are great flicks. But he started making Transformers movies and fucking got into his own shit for sure.
Then he went and fucked it up.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Big Leo, Michael Bay. Yeah, Michael Bay. He would have made it if he didn't make those. You cancel those Transformer movies. Yeah,
Oliver Stone was one that I'm surprised that didn't make my list, man. Oliver Stone.
Any Given Sunday is awesome, man. I love Any Given Sunday is probably my favorite sports movie.
Well, Platoon, Scarface. He wrote Scarface, but yeah, I mean, Platoon is one of my. No, but he wrote Scarface. He wrote Scarface, but yeah, I mean, and Wall Street. Wall Street's a great movie too.
Wall Street, JFK is one of my favorites.
And then Adrian Lyne is another great. Adrian Lyne's another great director too. I forgot about him, and because he did 9.5 Weeks. He did a bunch of other films like that. But yeah, Adrian Lyne's a great director as well, and yeah, it's kind of.
Chris Nolan. Yeah, he's
gonna
No. He didn't make my list.
Yeah, but
I like Nolan, but he didn't make my list.
Not even my hemisphere.
He has some great films. He has some fucking questions.
He has some bangers, man. But
Tenet. What's the other one? And I don't like from him. What's the space one with McConaughey?
Interstellar.
I did not like that.
I mean,
one either.
Tim Burton would be on my list too. Batman and Pee-wee's Big Adventure and all of his early stuff.
If you cut off Tim Burton. Like in '95, I think
you have to cut him off after Sleepy Hollow was his last. Sleepy Hollow,
yeah,
probably his last good movie.
Yeah,
Sleepy Hollow.
And definitely the Coen Brothers. Coen Brothers for sure.
Big Leo 415. I like John Woo. Yeah, John Woo's great.
John Woo's got some fucking great ones.
John Woo would have been on there, but the one thing that gets me about John Woo, he's kind of one trick because he only really does action well.
Yeah, Ivan Reitman.
Oh yeah,
Ivan Reitman.
Yeah, that's another one. Krista Bay messed up the Turtles too. Yeah, he didn't direct that, but his production company
had a hand in it, so he fucked it up.
Platinum Dune sucks. Anytime you see a Platinum Dune, just be cautious. Gold Dirty Bastards, Taika Waititi. Yeah, he's gonna. What was the movie he did with the World War II one? He did that was good.
Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit. That was really good.
It was good.
I have my issues with Thor Ragnarok, but we don't have to get into that.
Dude, I'm telling you guys. You guys probably still haven't seen it. The Hunt for the Wilder People.
I still need to watch that. Yeah, I don't like that fucking kid.
It's not about it's look past it and just watch the movie. Sam Neill's great.
I would see it for Sam Neill. I can't stand that little fat kid.
But he's funny. There's a lot of fucking Terminator references in that movie, which is fucking hilarious. It's fucking great. Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah, Mandalorian, Clint Eastwood. Yeah, he's he's pretty good.
Clint Eastwood should have been on he should have been an honorable mention. Dude, Heartbreak
Unforgiven,
Ridge, Unforgiven. What was that? Blood. I can't remember that. He's a detective. Perfect. Well,
John Woo, though, that he did a lot of the. Didn't he do? What was the ones that he did? Is that John, the one that does the Chow Yun Fat, like the killer? Is that him? Yeah. I said Roger Corman. He's on my Roger Corman is my Hard Boiled. Thank you. Roger Corman is on my honorable mention there. Mandalorian. Yes.
Ragnarok sucks.
No.
Roger Corman.
Yeah.
I love those old school. Like kind of schlocky directors. Yeah. Harold Ramis. He had some great flicks.
Harold Ramis is great.
Yeah, Harold Ramis is good. And then what was I going to say? I was going to say someone else, and I can't remember who it was now. But yeah, a lot of those older.
One we didn't mention either.
John Singleton.
John Singleton was a good director.
John Singleton.
George Lucas. He's he directed
some stuff.
American Graffiti.
American Graffiti was great.
Star Wars. Some of the prequels. Not all the prequels, but it's.
Didn't he do? Was it THX 1138 or something like that?
Yeah, like his body of work is not. He doesn't have. He didn't direct a lot, so.
But American Graffiti is awesome, man.
American Graffiti,
definitely.
Especially like getting those young actors in there, like he's just one of those guys that gathered some great cast together, and he made stars out of Harrison Ford and fucking Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, really. Yeah.
Although I think that Sam Fuller used Mark Hamill before, though, in Big Red One. I think that was before American Graffiti. It might have been. Yeah. And that was like, I think that. But that's a hell of a film. I mean, Sam Fuller is still definitely one of those filmmakers. It's like
George Miller.
George Miller. Yep. George Miller. Yep.
Yeah. So many damn good directors out there.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Jane Campion is a good director too. She was a good one. Nora Ephron was a good director. Cassavetes. I mean, all those guys.
Affleck.
Joe Dante.
Joe Dante almost made my list too. Yeah, Joe Dante is another. He had a lot of bangers for sure. There's some great directors out there. Yeah, you can make a top 50 fucking directors.
I know. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, this is our list. This is what we this is what lists are always personal. It's Han DeLorean, John Ford. It's you can go on and on, but there's some great directors out there. But this is our top 10, and we do it like we say with all our lists. We do this list again in a couple years.
It'll probably exactly.
John Waters.
John Waters. Yep.
I mean, I don't like him much as personal stuff, but Bryan Singer is pretty good, man.
Oh yeah, he's some.
I mean, you don't have to like, but fucking Usual Suspects, Apt Pupil.
Yeah, Philip Kaufman. Philip Kaufman's a good director too. Philip Kaufman.
Another one that's gonna probably make my list in a couple years. Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew
Vaughn. Oh yes. Layer Cake is still one of my all-time favorites of his.
Layer Cake makes me sad.
Eddie
the Eagle, guys.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie.
Matthew, Kingsman and X-Men First Class. He is a great. I love his style. Yeah, his kick ass. Yeah, his style is great.
Guy Ritchie's actually a pretty good director.
I like Guy Ritchie.
Great.
I like Guy Ritchie.
He's got some good stuff.
Yeah, his Madonna years kind of ruined him for.
Yeah. I need to see that new movie he did with McConaughey at the Gentleman.
I heard it was good.
That's the last movie he did. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, I want to check that out. Yeah.
Oh, M. Night Shyamalan. He had a little bit of a.
He has some pretty good. Yeah.
He had a little bit of a middle fuck up, but he had fucking a good for early movies.
He's got a new one coming out apparently.
Old looks fucking. It looks good.
It looks interesting. Yeah, it looks like a weird, crazy like Twilight Zone episode. Like down for. And, there you go.
Bless you.
There you go.
Bless you.
One more time.
Aww.
It's his hair.
So many great directors. Yeah, this definitely could have been a longer list.
Yeah.
It was a fun one. It was a fun list. yeah, put in the comments if you're watching the replay. Tell us some of your favorite directors for sure. I want to see some people's lists, what their favorite directors are. So yeah, fun episode. Lots of fun doing this. We picked the right person, Lori. I know me and Rick. We're gonna have similar lists. We need somebody to come in and
we finished
to counterbalance that.
Yeah,
we have the same. Scorsese, Coppola. We're kind of the same, and
Scorsese doing this. De Palma was on 2 of our lists.
Coppola was on. Yeah, Coppola. I think. Yeah, Coppola
I think
was
the only
definitely.
You didn't have Wes Anderson, John Lett, Sam Raimi.
You didn't nobody had the Coens except I had the Coens.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I mean, they would have been, but I completely forgot about that. But yeah,
like the ones I shared with Ray, I had Kubrick, Fincher, Tarantino, and Spielberg. Me and you, Lori, we shared Scorsese and Coppola.
Coppola, that's it. Yeah,
and then I brought Hughes, Coen, Hitchcock. That's who I brought to the table.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our honorable mentions were probably all different than everybody else's.
Yeah, Spielberg for me, Rob Reiner, Roger Corman. I brought John Sayles, Seijun Suzuki, Guillermo del Toro, Kurosawa, Ang Lee, David Lynch, Elia Kazan for Coppola, Scorsese, and Wilder. I mean, I think it was a pretty good mix there. A different kind of mix of films and directors and styles and things like that. But yeah,
James Gunn, I think, is going to be on my list. In the future.
Yeah, I see a future list.
Oh yeah, David Lean, that's a good one too. That's a good one at Handalore. Yeah, David. Lean's
there's a lot of good up and coming filmmakers. Taika Waititi is definitely going to be on my list coming up.
Chris Hitchcock is amazing. Yeah, Hitchcock. Great list. Yeah, no, what's his name? Fuck, Orson Welles.
Oh yeah. I don't think he made enough films to kind of. I mean, he was I still think Citizen, Bernardo Bertolucci. You've got him. You've got, like I said, Jean Cocteau. You've got
Frenchie.
François Truffaut. You've got,
Danny Boyle's another one that.
Who I wish he would make more movies, but he's made some pretty good ones. Was Luc Besson?
Oh yes! Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot him.
I wish he would make more movies because I think he's one of the few. He's one of the few filmmakers that people always want like a strong female lead.
Yeah, that's right.
He really writes them well, man.
Yeah.
And he makes them look fucking badass.
Yeah, I mean, La Femme Nikita, he did, Fifth Element. Still one of my all-time favorites. But
what was
Big Blue.
Joan of Arc?
Big Blue, I love, is one of my favorites of his, too, which is such a beautiful film. And he did Hello, The Professional.
Yeah, The Professional.
A little creepy, that movie. It's still a great movie. Richard Linklater.
Rick Linklater.
Yeah, that's a good one. Robert Redford, Han Lauren says, we could stay here and
keep on going on and on and on.
Go all night. But yeah, great list, good list. We're gonna have some more. I think we're going to do the top 10 scores finally. We'll do that with the Honda DeLorean.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. This was a fun list. Lori, got anything to say or plug or before we get to
just happy 4th of July, happy Comic-Con month. They will be doing an on at home again in I think the July 23rd, I think, starting something like that. So yeah,
I'm going to Torpedo Con.
Woohoo! Nice. Other than that, thank you guys. It's always a pleasure to be on, and always fun debating film and pop culture and everything else. So, yay! Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. There you go.
Always.
Tell your friends. I want you to tell all your friends about me. Rick, what you got?
Definitely everything that we've thrown out on here. You're not going to find a bad movie made by any of the people that we mentioned, or you will actually, but on the majority of them, you will find fucking gems. Watch. Just go IMDb all these people. Look it up on Netflix. Look it up on Hulu. Look it up on all your streaming platforms. Go watch these movies. Add to the debate. fucking fight me on that Spielberg's not the fucking best.
Yeah, no. Just don't throw a bottle at him, okay?
It's I will stand up and get an usher. But yeah, just watch these movies. That's why I think I've been talking about all these movies as my hidden gems. This is my thing. I think it can pass down. It's the love of movies, love of film. I fucking love it. I adore it.
Yeah.
I will watch a movie 20 fucking different times and try to find something new every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch these movies. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Well, especially the older directors or the foreign directors. You know, a lot of people have never heard of Seijun Suzuki or, yeah. Well, anyway, but Ang Lee or even old Kurosawa or John Sayles or Elia Kazan. It's
Watch
like
them
go
all.
watch these old films that or even all the films that the both of you have mentioned as well, because and you can see the influences of each director on each other, especially someone like Kurosawa on Scorsese and Coppola and Spielberg and Lucas and all of these guys.
And then those guys are influencing the modern, like Ryan Coogler.
Exactly, yeah.
They're inspired. Those guys grew up on Star Wars. You can see all the guys that are directing the Mandalorian, all those film directors.
Exactly. Yes, totally.
Star Wars movies and Spielberg movies. That's why that show has so much fun in it. Speaking of fun, Mike, Pinball Mike, fun show. Happy 4th weekend all. Now I go watch some movies.
Watch movies.
So subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, I'm still getting mine up and running. It's gonna take a little bit more time, but I'm gonna get mine up and running soon. So
all I hear from you, Lori, is excuses.
I know, damn it.
Lori, happy 4th, my friends.
Happy 4th, Alex.
Alex B-Day coming up, so happy
yeah, that's right. Happy birthday.
B-Day coming up soon. All right. So yeah, like the video, subscribe, look out for more content. Go watch our after shows for Loki. I got an unboxing hopefully dropping this weekend for the Mayfix Michael Jordan figure. We got our weekly show, SF Company Hour, all the weekly week geek news, trailers, movies, cartoons, toys, comics, whatever the hell geek stuff we want to talk about. So check out that. Look out the other videos. Again, like the video, help with the likes. Let's spread this around. Show your friends that are film fans. If they're film fans, show them this video. I'm like, hey, send this over. Like, hey, there's a bunch of dorks talking about dork shit.
Exactly.
Computer clap.
There you go. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. Happy 4th. Don't drink and drive out there. Be safe, and hey, watch out for the fireworks, and don't hold those
Keep
fireworks.
your pets inside.
Yeah. Spay and neuter your pets. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Fun list. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.